Good morning, everyone. We're going live in just a moment.
Secretary Knoxville, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, most people just blow you off, right?
That's right.
Almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions.
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be on the air in just
quite a while with him.
Just about a minute. I got to take this off my nose.
I want to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you get a fair shake.
Here we go.
Call Attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
You are listening to Florida's
Here we go.
Radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show,
Oh, I got to plug in the charger. There we go.
One. That's 1-888 cocaine. One.
All right. Yeah. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. And, of course, we are live in the mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. on a whole bunch of radio stations. You can also watch us live stream on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube in high definition. Watch us live stream live with a very active chat room in there each and every morning. And also listen to us on the TuneIn app or the iHeartRadio app. Searching for us by our station call letters, WWNN. And, of course, my show, which I do separate and apart from this show that I co-host with my wife, Kathy, the Brian Craig Show podcast on most podcast platforms. And I do upload my podcast to my YouTube channel as well. Check that out. Okay, so much happening. Trump had an epic press briefing yesterday, kind of late in the day. What's going on? Why are they working on Sunday? He had an epic press conference over the weekend, so we'll talk about that. And, last week, we've got another liberal with the coronavirus, another member of the mainstream media elite who has the coronavirus. And, well, according to the New York Post, they've been accused of what they are saying is improper social distancing after a coronavirus diagnosis. Last week, I tell you, these liberals, don't go anywhere, don't leave, and they get infected with the coronavirus, they're all out. Now, if you remember last week, we had the first story of Chris Cuomo, Fredo, of CNN, right? His brother's the governor, orders everyone on a lockdown. Somehow, Chris Fredo Cuomo goes out, gets the coronavirus. And then coincidentally, Brooke Baldwin over at CNN, she gets it too. No one else over there I know of, just those two. So then Chris Cuomo is broadcasting from his basement. He's in isolation. And then we find out Easter Sunday. I had this story was it Monday? I think it was last Monday or Tuesday. We find out on Easter Sunday, Chris Cuomo of CNN was busted breaking his quarantine. He was spotted by a bicyclist in the Hamptons. Remember this? And then there was a confrontation that led to the resident in the Hamptons, the bicyclist, filing a police report. Pretty much a media blackout on that. New York Post had a very detailed story. Well, now we got another one. Another member of the liberal mainstream media who's breaking all the rules and edicts that they're throwing down. We got these patriots protesting. We just want to go back to work, Gov. Can you stop, And meanwhile, people in the liberal mainstream media getting the coronavirus, and they're breaking all the rules, like Chris Cuomo. Listen to this. New York Post, George Stephanopoulos. Now, George Stephanopoulos, for those that don't know, he's a liberal Democrat. He's over there on, I guess it's Good Morning America, which I know none of you watch. No one watches Good Morning America, Today Show, all that stuff, because they're on television when I'm on the radio here. So, all those morning shows are like Good Morning America are just filler during the Steve Kane Show. They got to put something on to go against us. But George Stephanopoulos, before he was big shot. Who's taller, Stephanopoulos or Fauci? I don't know. Wouldn't you like to see them in a little people basketball game? But before that, Stephanopoulos, he was the press secretary for Governor Clinton when he was running for president, went on to be the first White House spokesperson for Bill Clinton, and then became special advisor to the president. But before all that, before George, see, everything's all connected here. Everything's connected. These people in the media and in the Democrat Party circles are all incestuous. Before George Stephanopoulos worked for Governor Clinton, yes. See, we still got our phone issues. Hold on, I'll be with you in a minute. Before George Stephanopoulos worked for Bill Clinton when he was running for president in 1992, when he was still governor, he worked for Mario Cuomo. That's right, he worked for Mario Cuomo in New York. George Stephanopoulos accused of improper social distancing after coronavirus diagnosis. New York Post. George Stephanopoulos, who revealed this week he tested positive for COVID-19, is being accused by a neighbor in the Hamptons, just like Fredo, in the Hamptons again, of not following social distancing guidelines. The 59-year-old co-host of ABC's Good Morning America, whose wife, Allie Wentworth, who used to be on Mad TV, emerged from a 3-week battle with the deadly bug. He's been out and about visiting a local drugstore last week, more recently walking his dog on a private golf course, according to his neighbor. If you know someone's wife has corona, and the wife has been very, very sick with it, do you think that the husband should be out at pharmacies picking up prescriptions when the pharmacy delivers and does curbside pickup? The local mayor said, our local neighbor who gave her name, Carrie Doyle, in a deleted Facebook post that was seen by the New York Post. The pharmacy in question was in East Hampton, according to a source close to the situation. So we have two Clintonistas, the Cuomos. Now we've got George Stephanopoulos breaking quarantine after his wife's got the coronavirus. Oh my God. Where's the news headlines about this? Why, while our people are protesting around the country, they want to go back to work. They don't have the corona. They've not been exposed. But we've got two members of the mainstream media exposed. One of them's got it. And by the way, Fredo gave it to his wife, apparently. Why is this not the headline? I don't know. All right, good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood.
Hank in Hollywood. I heard there was a protest in Hollywood over the weekend. I saw in the local news.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to the news, so I don't, or it could have been. I don't pay attention.
You got to pay some attention. You're listening to me.
Well, I pay attention to you and Rush, but I don't pay attention to the fake news.
Oh, there you go. Smart man. Smart man. Smart man.
But listen, Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I'd fainted coming out of my bathroom, and I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted. I fell. I cracked my chin. It hit my upper teeth, and I cracked my 3 front teeth. I had called you because I thought Dr. Gupta was in Coral Springs, but you said no, he's in Dania, which is right by me.
I remember the call.
Yeah. Thank you.
I remember the call.
I just want to thank you. And I really want to thank Dr. Gupta. I mean, he besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, his assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And, and I just want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. I'm sure your other sponsors are the same. I haven't gone to Tire Plus. I haven't gone to any of the other hardware.
It's Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire. Tire Plus is the company. You want to go to Friendly Tire. Well, I'll tell you about Dr. Gupta. I told Dr. Gupta when, Dr. Gupta has been a listener of the Steve Kane Show since 1983. And when I first met Dr. Gupta last year, I guess maybe about this time last year, I told Dr. Gupta, I said, all these dentists, they advertise, we cater to cowards, the painless dentistry. I said, the reason people avoid dental work is not the pain or that they're cowards, it's the cost. It's the cost. And he said, right on the money. And, Dr. Gupta is a very experienced dentist. He's got an incredible chairside manner, and his prices are affordable. He doesn't want people to neglect their teeth because of the cost. So I'm glad you had such a great experience. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really did, and I appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome.
And on a different note, I know the coronavirus is real. I'm not saying it's not real. My dad has cancer. My mom is a walking definition of bronchitis.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been saying for 3 weeks, and everybody's been mad at me. My family's been mad at me. My coworkers have been mad. I've been saying for 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, this is all blown out of proportion. This is not necessary. And it turns out that, I tell my wife later, it turns out that I'm right, but you'll find out. I tell my wife, you'll find out in a few weeks, a few months, there'll be more people saying what I've been saying all along.
Well, I read in one of the local papers today, in Florida, we have 760 some odd deaths that they credit to coronavirus. And in one of the local papers, they said 20% of the Florida deaths are from nursing homes. 20%. That's like 160. That's like 160 some off the top of my head. But yeah, that's right. Now, what I was trying to find this morning after I saw that, it was in either the Herald or the Sun Sentinel. I can't remember which. And I couldn't find this number, but I didn't have a lot of time because I had to go on the air. I wanted to find out how many nursing home deaths there have been in Broward County and also in Dade County, because Broward and Dade are the two hot spots for corona in Florida. But 20% from nursing homes, that really blew my mind. I mean, nothing against people. I mean, that doesn't mean the people in nursing homes are insignificant. Every death is a loss. I mean, it is. I understand that. But it really shows you what are the risk factors, right? You want to stay out of the nursing homes. But if 20% came from the nursing homes, that means those of us not in nursing homes are that much safer, right?
Right, that's a substantial amount. People like, oh, it's only 20%. No, 20% is a lot. That means if you have 5 family members, one.
That's right.
Another 5, another one. 20% is a huge percentage.
Yeah.
It sounds like a small percentage, but it's huge.
Yeah, and what I would like some real data on this, because not everyone that dies that's nursing home related is somebody that's staying there. Sometimes a worker or a vendor will stop into the nursing home. There's a lot of that. So I don't know if there's a way to find out if 20% are from nursing homes, how many are connected to nursing homes? Is it 20% or is it greater? I don't, because remember in Washington State in the early days, everything was from one nursing home. So that's good. Right. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr. Gupta.
I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Eve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial for Dr. Gupta. That's totally unsolicited. I had no idea that he was going to call, and that is great to hear. And, Dr. Gupta, free exam and free x-rays for Steve Kane listeners, and also free second opinions. His number, 954-922-4633. And you'll hear in a message that we recorded last week with Dr. Gupta that he has really taken his office to the next level so far as safety during this era, beyond even the CDC guidelines. A lot of dentists are not open right now, or they're open by special appointment. They're doing crazy things. Dr. Gupta's open, and he has all those guidelines in place. So, listen, before we break, I just want to say, so George Stephanopoulos' wife has the corona. He doesn't social distance. He doesn't isolate. He's walking around town. He's walking around the Hamptons, and he's going inside a pharmacy. So we have 2 leading liberal Democrat members of the mainstream media now, George Stephanopoulos, ABC's Good Morning America, and a Clintonista, and someone who, prior to being a Clintonista, worked for Mario Cuomo, the former governor of New York, whose son is the current governor. And then we've got Fredo, Chris Cuomo, who was out in the Hamptons too. So, this is the thing, as these protests go on around the country. Whenever leftists are in power, whether it's here or in the Soviet Union, Venezuela, The rules that they and the edicts that they pass upon the peasants like you and me never apply to them, right? Never apply to them. And this story with Stephanopoulos, now that we have two instances, Stephanopoulos and Chris Cuomo, these are stories that should be lead headline stories. But you know what? They're not. Because why? Because the media have an agenda. All right, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Florida's longest running radio show. Indeed it is. On the radio since 1977. Let's take that break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
The owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of the Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during after the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face.
Hey,
so
Becky. Hey, Jeff.
Buy a bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in.
Yeah, I will see if I can take that gentleman's call and turn it into a commercial. Yeah, this is my nasal strip.
We're going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use a bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a
Oh,
great
yes,
deal.
it is my
These
birthday.
bandanas are reusable
Yes,
because
yes.
you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough
Exciting.
Boulevard, on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace
My
Hardware.
wife got up
located
early
at
this morning,
232
was wishing me
Commercial
happy
Boulevard,
birthday at 4 in the
Lauderdale by
morning.
the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
You've heard the jingle and seen the commercials, and that's right. You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with a My Pillow. Have you not gotten your My Pillow yet? Right now is the best time to do it.
That's right, Brian.
Yep,
hey guys,
420
this is
day.
Brian's wife, Kathy, and this is the best
Thanks, guys.
time to get a MyPillow.
Oh, I
There's
missed what
amazing
you
deals.
said, Jeff.
Take
Hold on.
advantage of
What
them
was it?
now.
Go to mypillow.com.
Am I 50?
Click the
No.
radio listener link,
Next year,
and
I'm
you will see
49
all these
years
great
old.
Deals, like the buy one My Pillow, get one for free. There's a BOGO offer right now on the Giza Dream
49.
Sheets. Buy one set of My Pillow Giza Dream
Hard for
Sheets
me
and
to
get the second
say
set
that.
free.
You gotta love BOGO deals. They're the best. And you can take advantage of so many right now at mypillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to mypillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can
Well,
also
49
go
ain't what it
phone,
used to be.
1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, welcome back, guys. Yeah. Oh, man. You know, today I went to Wawa on the way in to get my coffee. They got some setup over at Wawa. And, you know, I during this crazy time we're in, you know, I've been going to other places on the way to get coffee because Starbucks is not opening up at 5:30 in the morning like they normally do. They're opening up at 6, and I can't go there at 6 because I got to be on the radio at 6. But you know, and I'm going in with wipes and everything else and not wanting to touch anything. At Wawa, they actually are now preparing the coffee for you, which was really nice because I stopped going to Wawa because they had community creamer, and now they don't do that anymore. So I guess that'll be my morning stop will be Wawa again. Yes. I go to the Wawa, for those that don't know, I go to the Wawa on my way to work, the one that is on, I guess it's the Parkland Coconut Creek Wawa, the one on 441 State Road 7 and Loxahatchee. And that's the Wawa where I saw the Parkland shooter, obviously, long before the shooting. I told you, let's talk about that after. It was just so, you know, when they showed the Parkland shooter on television, when they arrested him on that day, he looked so familiar to me, and I didn't say anything about it for days, because he just looked so familiar, and I thought, well, you know, maybe I've just seen him walking around or something, because I drive by the school on my way home from work every day, and then I just flashed in my head, I saw him a couple times over at the Wawa, and he was really scary. He really was freaky. You know, the frustration of the left and the media and everything, they don't understand. They don't understand. And again, I'm not sure I totally understand. It's amazing. I do, but what the Democrats and the media and the leftists do not understand is why the hell Donald Trump is still so popular. Here we've got this global pandemic. There are more people. Now, I'm going to sneeze in a moment because I have on the air conditioner just popped on. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Now, see if you're watching on YouTube. The air conditioner just popped on, and when it pops on, the air blows down and makes me sneeze. And these days, if you sneeze, now I'm in the building alone. There's no one else in the building, and there is not. The nearest person is about 2 blocks away from me right now until Steve gets here. But these days, if you sneeze, cough, or even clear your throat, heads turn, things are going nuts. So what the leftists don't understand is, why is President Trump so popular? We've had the coronavirus, we got this pandemic, and I'm guessing, I could be very wrong about this, but I don't think I am. I bet you there are more people out of work right now in America than during the Great Depression. Now, a lot of those people are going to go back to work real soon, but there are more people out of work right now, I'm guessing, than during the Great Depression. And he's still as popular can be. In fact, he might even win some other states that he didn't win last time. He's becoming more popular each day, and they just don't understand it. You got Nancy on there with Chris Wallace. Hey, this son of a, she's just consumed with hate. Go to your $14 a pint ice cream and your $25,000. She's got a refrigerator that costs more than most people's cars. But she's a woman of the people, don't you know, Nancy Pelosi. They just don't get it. And, there's a lot of reasons why. And one of them is we're tired of these government people and these leftists. That's one big reason. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Jeff from Maine.
Jeff in Maine, talking to me over my iPhone 11 Pro. Yes.
Hey, I want to tell you why he's so awesome and his numbers are up there. Because he's the first president since the late, great, honorable President Reagan, who is all by and for we the people.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely. Well, listen, he's gotten us out of this pandemic, right? He's gotten us out of this pandemic. And even though, but the left don't understand it. The left just don't get it. And I could look up the numbers in a minute if I wanted to, but I think it's safe to say that the actual number, there are more people out of work right now this morning than during the Great Depression. A lot of that is because the population is much larger, than in the 30s. And even with all of that, there are people out in the streets, out of work, marching for Donald Trump in these states that want to get back to work.
Can you imagine what will happen when they allow the Trump rallies to begin again? How big they're going to be now?
Oh, America's a big Trump rally. In the beginning of this, I'm going to play some clips from the press conferences over the weekend. That Asian reporter he got into it with, that was a really good one. But, in the early days of this, when he had the first press conferences and we were in trouble, and he came out, I talked about this at the time, he came out with all these presidents and CEOs of great companies, right? Like he brought out the people from the ventilator companies. He brought out the people from Walmart and Mike Lindell from MyPillow. He brought out the people from the industries that manufacture the goods and services that you need during a crisis. He brought out the guys from the companies that make all the masks and the scrubs and everything for the health workers, as opposed to in the past, they bring out Congress people and secretaries of this and that and bureaucrats. He brings out the action. It's what he's like? He's like John Galt. If you don't know who John Galt is, I wouldn't tell you to read Atlas Shrugged because it'll take you about 5 years, but look up John Galt if you don't know. He's like John Galt, putting together these masters of industry to get us out of a crisis, and that's why it's over so fast.
What do you think about this is a pandemic in isolated pockets in America.
Yes,
It's not like that everywhere.
correct.
In Maine, there's 867 confirmed cases,
Wow.
393 recovered, 34 deaths.
34
But our
deaths.
governor has decided to close the state till May 14th, and it's unnecessary.
With only 34 deaths?
Yes.
Well, how many, I mean, my goodness. I'm assuming the
And
governor's a Democrat.
She's a wicked liberal, and Governor Paul LePage had $400 million in a rainy day fund. She spent it in the first month of her, after she got, inaugurated.
Now, why do you, okay, now I don't know too much about Maine, okay, or Maine politics, but why do you think the governor of Maine, with 34 deaths statewide, my goodness, is keeping your state shut down till the middle of next month at least? Why?
I believe it's all to make Trump look bad. I mean,
To make Trump look bad?
Everything they've tried has failed.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. But the thing is, these protests around the country where they claim there were Nazi flags at, give me a freaking break. If somebody brought a Nazi flag, it was probably a liberal, okay? Or, it wasn't one of the Trump people. But these protests, I don't think anyone blames Trump for being out of work at this point. They're blaming governors that have not opened up the states yet.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so these Democrat governors, and also, by the way, local officials at the city and county level, like here in Florida, you saw the story up in Jacksonville. They opened up the beaches and they were packed over the weekend. Now, Jacksonville is right on the northern border of Florida. I mean, it's barely Florida. It actually snows in Jacksonville, Florida. People don't know that. So, and Jacksonville, Florida is about 6-hour drive from where I'm at, so I'm way down south. The mayor of Fort Lauderdale, old liberal activist, he's keeping things closed, keeping the beaches closed. What? For what purpose? Other than, well, Donald Trump wants it. He's the Republican president, so Democrats unite. We're going to keep anything that is not open. Trump is not going to get the blame. It's going to be the governor, the county officials, or your mayors. They're going to get all the blame. And in almost every instance, they're a Democrat.
Do you think they're going to try to do mail-in ballots for the election in November? Do you
Well,
think that's their end game?
Well, I don't know how it is in your state, but in Florida, we already have, we have absentee balloting, which you can do by mail. And it's a big problem.
Maine can too.
Yeah, that's always, that is where the mail-in absentee ballot is where the majority of the Democrat vote fraud takes place today. And, I don't want to get too sidetracked into that, but Democrats, they've got certain voting blocks that they have won historically, and they've lost a lot. Donald Trump has picked up, part of the black voting block, the Hispanic, even the gay voting block. But one voting block that is firmly Democrat and always votes Democrat is the dead vote. And I don't know if you follow this, but the dead vote is one of the most secure Democrat voting blocks. And if you went to the absentee ballots that are mail-in throughout this country and found out how many of them were of dead people, you'd be amazed. Now, I don't know what it is about the Democrat platform that attracts the vote of the dead, but they seem to win at every election.
I just got two things to say, Brian. As soon as the economy opens up, it is going to go skyrocketing right back where it was.
I hope you're right.
He's going to open up his rallies. They're going to be bigger than ever, and the Democrats are going to go berserk.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man, I got to run for a break. Jeff in Maine, thanks for the call. Always good content. Thanks so much. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Attention seniors over the age of 65. In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you have recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review of your existing health insurance plan and to receive a free no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. I Will Advisors are carrier neutral, which means they don't just represent one insurance carrier, they represent all major national carriers and will guide you through the confusing process to find the right plan for your particular needs. Free of charge. Call Debbie and her team right now. 954-753-8080.
Well, thank you.
753-8080.
This is Steve Kane. I'm sitting here with my good friend and my attorney, Barry Siegel of the Siegel Law Group. Barry, you offer a service called Elder Law.
I did actually
Getting up there in years.
paint.
I'd like
I
to
guess I
find
didn't
out
wash
exactly
my
what that
elbow
is and
well
when
enough
and
this
if I
morning
need it.
before I left.
Elder law, think of it as asset protection. Now, as
I was
we
painting late
age
last
and
night.
Get into our retirement.
I got it off everywhere
the
else.
number one
I was
concern
scrubbing,
or threat to
but I didn't get it
our
off my elbow.
Assets is the
Now I
cost
did a
of
couple
long-term
touch-up
care.
spots this morning that I missed.
Care either at home, in an assisted living facility, or in a nursing
This morning when I got up,
very,
I
very
saw there were
expensive.
2 spots I
And it
missed,
can eat
and
away your
I
assets. It can even deplete your assets.
I
for
painted them.
nothing. Imagine if you lose all your assets, you have to go into a facility, and your spouse at home has nothing left. Or you may
And this
end
is
up
the
not
roller
having
where it
any
dripped down
assets
on my
left to
arm.
leave to your loved ones. So with elder law, we are able to look at different government benefits that may be available.
Yeah, my birthday, I got a lot of
to
work I
you or
gotta
your
do today,
spouse,
so
such
today's a
as
working
Medicaid
birthday.
or veteran benefits. And even if you don't think that you're eligible
No
for
plans.
these benefits, you'd be surprised.
It was hot. It
That's
was
what
in the
elder law
90s
attorneys
yesterday.
do is we help people who may not
I didn't go
be
outside though. I was
eligible
inside painting
at this
the inside of
point
my
become eligible
house. I was
so
painting
that
my
they
living
can
room.
protect their assets for themselves, their spouse, and their loved ones.
Well, it sounds like a really great idea. I suggest you call my attorney, Barry Siegel, and he will be glad to set up an appointment and explain
Really?
everything to you in even more detail. His number, toll free, 1-855-FLA-37.
Yeah, it's called pool something, yeah.
Mention that you heard it on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. The people on YouTube know. Hey, I noticed this when I was talking to Jeff in Maine. If you're looking on YouTube, you'll see on my forearm I have some paint. And what I've been doing, you know, Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware joined us here as advertisers on the Steve Kane Show. And I've become a big customer of Ace Hardware Deerfield and the Beach Ace Hardware location. And I've been doing a lot of work around the house. And over the weekend, I painted my living room. And I got to tell you, I got my brushes and all of my equipment over at Ace Hardware. And again, there's a lot of Ace Hardwares, but there's 2 that are advertising on the Steve Kane Show. All right, the Beach Ace Hardware, Lauderdale by the Sea, and the Deerfield location, which is just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1. And I've cleaned off the outside of my house. Now I'm involved in work on the inside because it's so hot out. And I painted my living room yesterday, and it's really nice. And this morning, I saw 2 spots that I missed, and it was driving me nuts. And I wanted to get them painted before my wife got up and saw the 2 spots that I missed. So I got out the paint this morning and did some touch-up work before I came to work this morning. I do more before 5 a.m. than most people do all day. I was actually painting in my living room this morning. And yeah, I know. And you can see the paint. This is the color of my... If you go on my Instagram, I took a picture yesterday afternoon of part of my living room, put it up on Instagram so you can see it. But since Ace Hardware's joined us as a sponsor, and I'll tell you, when I painted the living room, my wife and daughter both told me this was the best painting I've ever done, because I've painted our house on the inside. We've lived there many years, several times, and I'm always getting paint on the ceiling. I'm dripping paint all over the place. And when I went over to Ace Hardware, they give you, I'm new to this, you know, even though I do handyman work to a certain extent. When you go over there, their experts will help you with everything. I got the right paint, and I got the right tools for the job too, okay? I got the right brushes and the right paint and some other things as well, and it just was a breeze. So anyway, both locations listed at stevekaneshow.com. Ace Hardware Deerfield, which is just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1 Federal Highway, and Beach Ace Hardware, Lauderdale by the Sea. And by the way, when you stop in, get your free bandana. They carry masks and all these equipment you're looking for, like sanitizer masks and things. But they're also giving out free bandanas that you can wear around town, and these bandanas are heavier than the average bandana. And you'll see construction crews, lawn crews wear these bandanas often, and they're reusable, so you can wear them and go out and about with that bandana. And that's free if you mention the Steve Kane Show. All right, guys, welcome back one and all. Now, this is a story that I saw that I am calling total BS on, okay? And I've not been able to confirm this, so it's possible BS. And if you don't know what BS is, well, I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure that out. And, you know, these get back to work protests have been going on throughout the country, right? And this one in Colorado, you may have heard about. This article is in the New York Post. So if you go to the New York Post website, and I did tweet this article, you can find this story on your own. Here's the headline: Healthcare workers face off against anti-lockdown protesters in Colorado. And they have a woman who's an older lady hanging out the passenger side window of a Ram 4 pickup truck. And in front of her is a, hold on, Frank, hold on. In front of her is supposedly a healthcare worker. He's a guy in scrubs and a mask, and he's standing in front of her vehicle. And the reason I'm calling BS on this is they're not identifying the healthcare worker in any of the stories, and it's a remake of, it's an attempted remake of the Tiananmen Square with the protester in front of the tank. Hold on, Frank, I'll get to you in a minute. Let me read this story that I'm calling BS on. Healthcare workers on Sunday faced off against protesters calling for an end to Colorado's coronavirus stay-at-home order. 2 medical workers in scrubs and N95 masks were spotted blocking horn-honking motorists who had gathered at the state capitol in Denver to challenge the lockdown orders. Photos and videos posted on social media show this. They were blocking the roads until the police stepped in. A photojournalist posted the image on Facebook. People were putting their cars right up against them. Video of the incident showed a woman in an American flag t-shirt hanging out of her car window yelling at the healthcare workers. "Go to China if you want communism," she yelled. "You can go to work. Why can't I go to work?" the woman asks, referring to the closure of non-essential businesses in the state. The workers did not respond. Okay, and I've not seen the healthcare workers identified. They're not wearing any identification. They're wearing scrubs and masks. And I'll tell you, the scrubs and the masks they're wearing look brand new and out of the wrapper. So I'm calling total BS on this. I don't think these are healthcare workers, at least not healthcare workers that are working in some COVID-19 ward. I think these are Democrat activists, and they put on the scrubs, and they came out and stood there to try to reenact Tiananmen Square. Now, go to the New York Post, go to my Twitter, and you can look at it. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Hello, Brian. This is Mike.
Yeah, Mike, what's up?
You know, you mentioned that mayor from Fort Lauderdale that said, or whatever it was.
Dean Trantalis is his name, yes.
Right, that he wasn't going to open up the city or whatever. You know what that comes down to? The National Democrats are just still so bitter that they lost the last election, right?
Yeah.
And the bitterness has now seeped down into the county/local levels. I mean, your great governor has already
Ron DeSantis.
Tell him to open up.
Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis is going to tell them to open up the state, and if that guy doesn't want to open up his city, it all comes down to he don't like the Republican governor, and he don't like Trump.
Well, you know, now again, I'm not a constitutional expert like Mark Levin, but the right to assemble, I think, is the First Amendment. And you hear all this outrage from the left about, oh my goodness, these people are going where they want to go, and they don't even have permission from officials. How can they move and associate without permission? It's amazing when you hear these leftists talk. They don't even hear themselves.
Right, they don't even hear it. I mean, it's like they're tone deaf. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
when Nancy Pelosi and her $25,000 ice box filled with all those ice creams and the Dove bars.
Icebox, you're showing your age. You're older than I thought. How old are you, really? Come on, tell the truth. Icebox.
I'm 47.
Come on, 47. Who called? No, 47. What 47-year-old? Yeah.
Born 1942. 1972. I'm sorry. Born 1972.
42 sounds more like it because, like, my grandfather, who was born in 1899, he called the refrigerator the ice box because they actually used to put blocks of ice in the box to keep things cold. Hearing somebody 47 call the refrigerator ice box, I'm not going to give you a hard time, Mike, in Louisiana, but I don't think you're 47. Come on. Ice box? It's okay to be...
Born November 1972.
Why'd you say 42? Why'd you say 42, though, first? You said 42.
I meant to say 70. I meant to say 72. Slip of the tongue there.
All right.
My dad was born in 42.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, like I was saying, these Democrats are just such tone-deaf people, you know? And look, if you want to keep costing your city money, keep your city closed, you know?
Yeah. Well, this isn't the first time. I remember there was Hobby Lobby when they were opposing Obamacare. They were opening up a location in Debbie Wasserman Schultz district here in South Florida. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz went out to protest the opening of Hobby Lobby, which was opening up in a shopping center I'm familiar with that had an old Kmart that went out of business long ago and was kind of dried up. And I remember I said, I've never seen an elected official, a member of Congress, come into their district and complain that jobs were being created until Hobby Lobby moves in. And now you're seeing nationwide, you're seeing Democrats trying to keep their constituents out of work just so they can stick it to Trump. And they don't understand that they're the ones that are going to take the blame for this, not President Trump. Donald Trump's come out in favor of these want to get back to work protesters.
Right, and that's the thing. They're not getting it. People want to get. This isn't France. This isn't where they actually pay people not to work. This is America. People want to work.
Indeed, they do. Yeah.
And if you're coming out against that, I mean, yeah, before this whole thing had happened, it was said that the only way that the Democrats would keep the Congress, keep the House, and take the presidency is if there was a downturn in the economy.
Well, there's a lot, the Democrats, they have so much confusion, right? They have tried so many schemes to get Trump. They had the porn actress, Skanky Stormy Daniels, and Avenatti running around. Oh, he had sex with a porn star, which was not true. That family values crowd of Bible thumpers. Then they got this Russia hoax with Mueller and all of this, all the stories. And then he survives a pandemic that he's gotten us out of. And now the more millions of Americans out of work, and they don't understand, why is he still popular? Millions are out of work. I don't understand. They just don't get it. And the American people are fed up with government. They're fed up with bureaucrats. They're fed up with globalists. They're fed up with socialists. And Donald Trump is an everyday billionaire that people relate to and like. And he's, it's like Bill O'Reilly said, he's looking out for you, and people feel that he is. They don't get it.
Right.
They don't get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They don't get it. They don't get it, and they never will. It's like, okay, you want this guy out so bad, but everything you've tried.
Yeah. Well, listen, Mike, I gotta run for a break, but thanks for the call. Last break of the first hour. Mike in Louisiana. Now during the break, guys, go to my Twitter and look at this picture of this Tiananmen Square attempt to redo Tiananmen Square with the guy in scrubs and a mask. I thought they were short on the N95 masks. Why are they wasting N95 masks out on the street where social distancing is being maintained? That seems like a waste of the N95 for a healthcare worker. But go and look at this story in the New York Post. Do you think that this is a real healthcare worker who's working a coronavirus team or on a coronavirus floor that's reenacting a desperate attempt to reenact Tiananmen Square? give me a call. 1-888-GO-CANE1. That's our number. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll break and be right back.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the
it's
Soul
total
Authority
BS.
a call
There's
today
no. Have
at
you guys seen it?
954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Business owners, is your business open and you want to let your customers know? Have you changed the services you offer and want to get the word out? Let people know you are open for business. This is Brian Craig. Call me at 1-888-465-2631 and let's talk about how the Steve Kane Show can get the word out that you are open for business. Don't let the coronavirus crisis put you out of business. Give me a call, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631.
The science behind the aging process is exploding. We have come to a point where we can
No
take
doubt,
steps
John.
to significantly improve the health and function of
I need a
our
haircut,
cells.
though. My hair
Healthy
is getting
cells
really,
means healthy tissue means healthy organs means a healthy body, and healthy
No,
bodies
Icebox,
do
he's-
better
he's
and
42.
live longer. That's right,
42,
folks, I
not
said it.
72.
Live longer. Life
He's got a young
expectancy
voice,
is
though.
increasing in this country, and it is not a coincidence. With simple,
You have to be a highly
safe, and
skilled talk
effective
show host to
therapies
pick up
such
on
as
that.
peptides, we can significantly improve the function and health of your cells, and therefore we are improving your health from the ground up. Sleep better, lose weight, build muscle, have energy, have sex, be in a good mood. If feeling good and looking good sounds good to you, call me, Dr. Mitchell Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490, or visit our website at hormonetherapybocaraton.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. By the way, today's my birthday, April 20th. This is a strange day, right? Because it's my birthday. It is also the birthday of Adolf Hitler, and it's International Marijuana Day, and it's my birthday. I know. Isn't it exciting? Isn't it exciting? Well, listen, this is what you can do for my birthday. You can go to mypillow.com and purchase yourself or someone you love a MyPillow. You know, they have the buy one, get one free offer with free shipping when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, on the American flag MyPillow. I got a couple of those coming in the mail. Buy one, get one free, free shipping. You'll see it right there at mypillow.com, but you got to use the promo code KANE at checkout. And next month is Mother's Day. And let me tell you something. I got a MyPillow from my mother last Mother's Day. She loves it. She sleeps on it every night. And every other gift I've given her for Mother's Day, I promise you right here, right now, there wasn't one gift she had a year later that she was still using and talking about. But that MyPillow is the one out of all the years. And if you go to mypillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, buy one MyPillow, get another one free. The regular MyPillow for the bed. It's a great offer. You can give mom two of them or keep one for yourself. And if mom lives out of town or you're still social distancing, you can ship it to mom's house. And also that buy one, get one free offer with free shipping on the American flag MyPillow, which is a decorative pillow. When you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone if you would like. And when you order by phone, make sure you spell it out, K-A-N-E, to take advantage of these deals. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. All right, welcome back, one and all. Yeah, I'm calling total BS on that photograph of the healthcare worker. There is no way an H-E double toothpicks that is a real healthcare worker. See, this is the thing with Democrats and why they fail so much, is everything with them's a gimmick. It's a scheme. It's an angle. And they just don't go at things honestly. If they did that, they might have a little more luck. But of course they don't. Now, unrelated, this is just bizarre. Okay. there's a revival of 1776. Well, let me take a call before I get to that. Good morning. You're on the radio.
I called Brian to wish you a happy birthday. Me and my wife want to wish you a happy birthday and many, many more. And God bless you, Brian.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yes. Take care, man. Yeah, I like that. Happy birthday. All right, now 1776. I'm getting text messages for my birthday. This is nice. This is nice. Okay, I'm getting, okay. Appreciate all the well wishes. So there's a new revival of 1776 coming up. And, you may have remembered there was an original back in the 70s. There was a Broadway show that was made into a film, 1776. And it's about, of course, the Continental Congress and the signing of the Declaration of Independence. There's a revival. This is from theatermania.com, which I've never heard of before. I saw this online. I guess theatermania.com is an online site about theater. Upcoming 1776 revival to feature entirely female, non-binary, trans, genderqueer company. Now, I don't know what genderqueer is. Let me look that up. I know what trans and non-binary is, but hold on, Sarah. We'll be right with you. What is genderqueer? Hold on. Let me look that up. Oh, my goodness. Genderqueer. What is genderqueer? Okay, genderqueer is a noun, a person who does not subscribe to conventional gender distinctions, but identifies with neither, both, or a combination of male and female genders. You know what? I still don't know what it is. But anyway, it says here, American Repertory Theater has announced casting for its upcoming production of Sherman Edwards and Peter Stone's 1776. The entire musical company is made up of artists who identify as female, genderqueer, non-binary, or trans. Okay? And it goes on and on. The problem with this is 1776, the primary character in 1776 is John Adams, who went on to be our president. He was our first vice president. John Adams is a real person. And everybody in 1776, Ben Franklin, all of them, are based on real people. So now the founding fathers that the liberals call the slaveholders, the founding fathers like Ben Franklin is going to be played by a trans person, a woman. When you're making when you're putting together a production of real people, they're not fictitious people. This is just some gimmick, I guess, to try to get attention, but it's just ridiculous and stupid. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, Sarah in Colorado. Hey, Sarah in Colorado.
Hey, happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Anyway, on the Colorado article about the nurse trying to stop there, that's totally fake. We've got people down there that were down in downtown trying to get downtown. There were thousands and thousands of people down there trying to get down. There were traffic jams all over the place. And so that's definitely fake.
Have you seen, Sarah? Have you seen the photograph of the person in scrubs and the mask in front of the protesters? Have you seen the photograph?
Yeah. That it's a little fake.
Now, do those scrubs look brand spanking new to you, or is it just me?
Yeah, they look.
Yeah.
I mean, because there was thousands of people from all over Colorado. I tried to make it, but I couldn't because I was helping my mom.
Yeah.
But we were watching it, and then I had one of our he's a local radio host down there. He was down there. He was filming it.
Yeah.
Down there, and then I had other people all over. But there were thousands of people down in Denver, and we're just saying, because our governor, he's a Democrat, and he's the one that showed up, by the way, with the VP with the mask on, and that just pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah,
because,
you're talking about at the Air Force Academy graduation in Colorado Springs? Yeah.
And it's just so embarrassing. But he's also anti-Semitic. He says he isn't, but he is.
Well, what's he done that's anti-Semitic?
Well, he had
stuff, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow. Wow.
We've caught him in that kind of
Wow.
scenario,
Wow.
and he has tried to deny it, but people bring it back up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
But
interesting stuff.
the
Well,
thing
you know,
is-
this photograph of the person in the scrubs with the mask on in front of the protesters in Colorado, they're trying to make this go viral nationwide and maybe worldwide. And as soon as I saw it, it looked staged. The scrubs look brand new. They've never been washed.
Yep.
You know, and even if this is a healthcare worker, even if it really is a healthcare worker, I don't think it's one that's working in any of the coronavirus wards. You know, a healthcare worker, there's a, you know, 20% of the economy is the healthcare industry. Just because someone's a healthcare worker doesn't mean they're dealing with corona. But I would be surprised if this is a real healthcare worker. It seems to me to be totally fake, especially the stance in front of the protesters trying to prove a point.
Yep.
But we can't. They're not identified, and since they're wearing a mask in an open area, very far away, you can't look at them and find out who they are. How convenient! It could be me under there. You wouldn't know.
Right. Right. And the whole thing that Jimmy, who my local, he was down there, and he said everybody came out. There was all kinds. Everybody came out.
Yeah.
They're tired. They're fed up.
Well, the lady that was screaming out of the window, I thought she asked a very good question. Why can healthcare workers go to work, but I cannot? It's a great question, isn't it? You know, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. All right, sir, I got to run for a break. It's 7 o'clock, but thanks for the call. All right, Sarah in Colorado. All right, listen, we'll take our break. Your calls are certainly welcome. Great calls today. 888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take our break at 7 o'clock. Don't go anywhere.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
From the Siegel Law Group, my good friend Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you doing today?
Steve, good morning. I'm having a great morning. How are you?
I'm having a great morning and looking forward to our breakfast next week.
Me too, Steve. Always look forward to seeing you. Today I want to talk about a area of your overall...
Oh, de Blasio, I'll do next.
That doesn't necessarily have to do with your assets. It has to do with important decisions that need to be made.
You know, I don't have an ink pen. I've given all my pens to Steve. So,
and that goes with your healthcare documents. That's
I got a pen in my bag.
Plan.
In my backpack. You know, this backpack is a Herschel backpack. I've had this for 2 years, and it looks brand new, and I use it every day. I don't know what they make this material out of, but it stays clean as can be. I take this everywhere I go, on our cruises, anywhere I go around town.
Do so yourself. Those decisions could include end-of-life decisions such as pulling the plug. The second document is the living will, which is the document, think of it as a memo to your healthcare decision maker as to whether you want to have your plug pulled or not. So if you don't have your mental capacity and you're either have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or a persistent vegetative state like that Terry Schiavo had over in that Clearwater case many years ago, then it says you either want the machines keeping you alive, helping you breathe, and the feeding tube and the water tube, or you want those...
Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane Show. Turn off the... Yeah? It's the radio station. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah? Turn off the radio in the background. Turn off the sound in the background. You're talking to me now. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know why you get that. That's your longest station been right here. But you know, you got the date wrong.
Okay.
We purchased that station in 1987.
Okay, I'll put you on the air after the break. Hold on. But I'll put you on the air after the break. Turn off the radio in the background, though.
I got a
Turn it down. Hold on. Hold on.
Very knowledgeable, and he can help you solve those problems that are for some people very difficult to solve. Call to make that appointment, 1-855, that's toll free by the way, 1-855-FLA 3782.
Turn off the radio in the background.
All right?
Turn off the noise in the background. You got to turn the volume down in the
Hi, this is
background.
George Corey of the Soul Authority. It's time of social distancing and sheltering in place. Many
Okay,
people
hold
are
on.
Forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority
Hold
are
on.
making it possible for you to still take care
You'll
of
be
your
up after
feet
the break.
while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part
Oh,
of
he
all
hung up.
is
Damn
that
it.
Medicare pays for this visit. So
He wanted the
if you're a Medicare
challenge
recipient,
that this is
give
the
the
longest
Soul
running
Authority a
radio
call
show.
today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Well, let me see if I get in the call back. I'll make a big deal when we get back that this is the longest running radio show before I get into the new stuff.
Listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve K.
That's right.
Free. Dial
I'll make a big deal. I'll try to get in the call back.
Cocaine 1. That's 1-888 cocaine 1. And now here's Steve.
No, not the Love Doctors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. The Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. Oh my goodness. If you've just tuned in, shame on you. This show starts at 6. And gotten through a lot of stuff. I'll recap some of it later. But gotten through a lot of good stuff in that first hour. That first hour was hot with all kinds of breaking news that you probably heard here first on the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. That's right, this is the longest running radio show. All right, now let me get back. Now the Democrats are really showing their true colors, that they're, against freedom. They want America. They're letting prisoners out of jail, but they want to lock up law-abiding citizens. And, listen, if someone is sick with a disease, an illness that they can spread to people, that's one thing. But what the Democrats want to do is lock up healthy people that aren't even positive for coronavirus. They want to lock up healthy, and people are getting upset. We want to go to work. I got bills to pay. People aren't begging to go back to work because they necessarily love working. They mortgage, car payments, and there's this little thing called food. There's all these things. I know. It's not like they're begging to go on, protesting to go on vacation, and they're not even protesting for free stuff. They're protesting to go back to work. Okay. So, Mayor de Blasio of New York, he released a video that blew my mind. When I first heard this, I saw it on the Twitter. When I first heard this on Twitter, this can't be real. I listened to it twice because I thought I must have misheard what de Blasio said. Listen to this. This is Mayor de Blasio with a message for New Yorkers. Now, he's talking, if you see someone who's not following orders and the edicts, listen to what he wants you to do.
Now, look, thank you, everyone who's done it the right way, but we still know there's some people who need to get the message. And that means sometimes making sure the enforcement is there to educate people and make clear we got to have social distancing. So now it is easier than ever. When you see a crowd, when you see a line that's not distanced, when you see a supermarket that's too crowded, anything, you can report it right away so we can get help there to fix the problem.
Wow.
And now it's as simple as taking a photo. All you got to do is take the photo and put the location with it, and bang, send a photo like this, and we will make sure that enforcement comes right away.
Wow.
The photo, the 311-692, and action will ensue. Enforcement will come to get the help we need, or you can use the 311 app, send that photo there, and you'll make sure immediately there's follow-up. Look, this is important. I want to keep reminding people, it's about saving lives. Sending that photo in is going to help make sure that people are kept apart, and that's going to stop the disease from spreading, and that's going to save lives.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, if you see someone who is not properly social distancing, snap a photograph. They got some app or something, I don't know, going on in New York City where you can report, you can snitch on people who you don't believe are following guidelines. You know, this is insane to me. You know, in the Soviet Union, Nazi Germany, Castro's Cuba, and anywhere where the leftists have taken over and had total control, it's illegal to speak out against the government and the leaders, right? Well, they took it a step further. You know, in all of these places like the Soviet Union and Cuba, not only was it illegal to speak out against the government and speak out against the leaders, it was a crime if you heard it and didn't report it. And we're a step away from that in de Blasio's Big Apple here. So, de Blasio, what if I go somewhere, right, and I'm adhering to social distance? And by the way, does that go for Chris Cuomo and George Stephanopoulos? Both of them broke quarantine. Stephanopoulos' wife had the corona, and he was out inside a pharmacy spotted by people. Does that include George Stephanopoulos, de Blasio? Right? Chris Cuomo has the corona, and he was out with his whole family and somebody else. Does that include Chris Cuomo, de Blasio? Or does it just include the peasants, not the elite media and people who are the brother of the governor? I don't know. I don't know. Who's the guy? Now, what if I go somewhere? Now, this is an interesting thing, you know. What if I go somewhere and I'm adhering to social distancing guidelines and then a bunch of people show up? You know, last week I went to the local Bank of America. I was talking about how they had an armed guard inside the lobby enforcing the social distancing guidelines. And it's a bank I've gone to for years. They've never had an armed guard. And when I got there, I was the only customer. By the time I got to the front of the line, there was a line of people behind me, social distancing properly, of course, all the way to the door. So what if somebody snaps a picture? How do you know that I have violated social distancing guidelines and other people just didn't join? I got another thing here, de Blasio. How do you even know when the damn picture was taken? Right? What if somebody sends in an old photograph and says they just witnessed it? What are you going to do about that, de Blasio? This is really scary. And you know what's scarier than actually doing it is that de Blasio, this was a video that this wasn't something he just said off the top of his head live. This was a produced video with a script that he was reading. So Mayor de Blasio has a whole staff of liberal Democrat jerks, right, who came up with this, and no one said, hey, Mayor, this sounds like Nazi Germany. That sounds like the Soviet Union. No one said this. No one said, hey, Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I don't think you should be telling people to snitch on. It's crazy talk. And the people around him, because they're Democrats, they just don't see anything wrong with it. Let me play it. This is the Mayor of New York.
Now look, thank you everyone who's done it the right way, but we still know there's some people who need to get the message. And that means sometimes making sure the enforcement is there to educate people and make clear we got to have social distancing. So now it is easier than ever when you see a crowd, when you see a line that's not distanced, when you see a supermarket that's too crowded, anything, you can report it right away so we can get help there to fix the problem.
Wow.
Now it's as simple as taking a photo. All you got to do is take the photo and put the location with it, and bang, send a photo like this, and we will make sure that enforcement comes right away. Text the photo to 311-692, and action will ensue.
Wow. Holy crap. And action. And notice how he says enforcement. They took law out of it. Instead of saying law enforcement. Is that a new division of the New York City Police Department, right? Like they got transit cops, they got the mounted patrol. Do they now have social distancing cops? I don't know. Do they got a special little pin on their uniform to let you know they're social distancing officers? And, yeah, I know. Text the photos. Snitch on your neighbor. Oh my goodness. De Blasio. So then he had some other word. He had some words also over the weekend. De Blasio's a jerk. Don't you all agree with that? Does anybody disagree with that? You know, he worked for Mayor Dinkins. He was on the staff of Mayor Dinkins. Yeah, great mayor for New York. Yeah. Right. Dinkins did a great job bringing New York down. But I don't know what his job was for Dinkins, but I remember when he was running the first time, they said he had worked for Dinkins. It's easy to social distance when you live in a mansion, Gracie Mansion. You know, and I wonder how much social distancing does he do with his detail that he travels around? Does he stay 6 feet away from everyone in his detail and everyone on his staff when he travels around? I don't know. But I do know this. George Stephanopoulos' wife had corona, and he went into a public pharmacy. I know that Fredo, Chris Cuomo, has corona. His wife has corona, and he was spotted in the Hamptons. Now, I know that's outside of the realm of New York City, but he was spotted out and about too. So, de Blasio, who does this apply to? The media elite? Doesn't apply to them? I don't know. So then de Blasio, he had he's taking issue with President Trump. Listen to this. This is de Blasio of the weekend talking about our great president.
My question is, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, are you going to save New York City, or are you telling New York City to drop dead? Which one is it?
Wow. Now here, jeez. President Trump gave him the hospital ship, built one of the largest hospitals in America at the Javits Center, and I think there were 2 or 3 other hospitals. One was in the park that they built. He said the Army Corps of Engineers. Can you imagine? In peacetime, inside the borders of New York, he sent the Army Corps of Engineers. He sent so many ventilators to New York that Governor Cuomo's giving them away. They're not even his to give away, and he's giving them away. So I don't know what de Blasio's talking. Let's see what else this jerk had to say. I remember that.
The question is, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, are you going to save New York City, or are you telling New York City to drop dead? Which one is it? But you have to speak up now, or the Senate will not act, and we will not get the help we need. It's as simple as that.
Oh, it's more money. Okay, he wants more money. Let me tell you, New York's getting everything. A third of everything is out of New York, so far as going on with Corona. And I really don't need de Blasio, whose wife tried to steal the Roosevelt Bible at his inauguration, and Cuomo. If Cuomo and de Blasio have all the answers on how to handle this pandemic, why is 1/3 of every case in America under with their constituents, inside their borders? If Cuomo and de Blasio know what to do, why are there more people in New York City and New York State with the damn thing than anywhere else? If they have all the answers. I don't know. I'm asking. 1/3 of all the cases are in New York. My goodness. So I don't think they know what those are the last people you want to listen to. You want to listen to people that have success. And I got another question for de Blasio and Governor Cuomo. What the hell have you done for your city and your state during this? Because it seems to me that Donald Trump has done everything. The hospital ship, the Javits Center Hospital, the other few hospitals that he built with the Army Corps of Engineers, the ventilator. It seems like Donald Trump's done it all. What the hell have you done except have press conferences? I don't know. Tell us, please, de Blasio. Tell us, please, Governor Cuomo. And, hey, Governor Cuomo, what the hell is your brother doing going out and violating lockdown with the corona? And Mayor de Blasio, George Stephanopoulos, and Fredo are both residents of your city that have violated the social distancing guidelines. What say you about that? Should George Stephanopoulos have enforcement sent over? Let's take our first break of the second hour. It's 17 minutes after. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. That's our number. We're going to take that break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Talk about charisma. Hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I'm seeing if I can get that drunk to call back.
One
That's
of
why I
the
keep
things I
hyping
think
the
it brings
longest
back is
running thing so
charisma,
hard.
because I've met many listeners that are patients of Dr. Matez that I've met before they were patients of Dr. Matez, and I notice a big difference. And one thing I notice is a lot of confidence in guys after they start hormone replacement pellet therapy.
I agree with you 100%, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Get your mojo back. It's really
It
what it is.
changes your life. It changes the way you view the world. You know how I put it once? This was years and years ago. Looking at the world after having the hormone therapy, and you look at the world, and the world is like a technicolor. And when you give up the hormone therapy, it's like watching the world in black and white. It's just an amazing difference. Life
That's
is
a
fuller,
fantastic analogy.
isn't it?
It is.
It's true. That's a big difference.
It is. As we get older, we both physically and mentally break down, and we tend to get into a very black and white type of existence, a lot of people. Everybody's different. But when you get your hormone levels back and you get that vigor back, you feel good. Suddenly things are very bright and colorful.
And I experience this myself, and I see it on listeners, is I'll see a guy, and he's like, and then I'll see him after he...
Make sure you subscribe, everyone. Subscribe.
Hormone replacement pellet therapy. He seems like he's standing up strong, confident, 10 feet tall. What is it about hormone replacement pellet therapy that does that to guys?
I believe it's because
Steve Kane Show.
You're putting God's nectar back into the
Steve Kane Show.
basically.
Yeah.
God
Hold on.
gave us testosterone
Hold on.
in particular to give us energy and strength and endurance and muscle mass. It's what makes not just
All right, thanks.
it makes people.
Thanks, Joyce. All right, take care. Just called to wish me happy birthday. Not to go on
Steve
there.
Kane listeners at no charge.
Always.
What is the number they can call to make that appointment?
561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you
Okay,
and
listen.
your family to be
That's Richard
protected
Pearl's
from the
number.
coronavirus
Don't give these out on the air.
pandemic.
These are their cell
Incredible
phones.
offer
Call
for
him on your
listeners of the
phone
Steve Kane Show.
at 8:30. You put it on speaker.
Really coming in during after week. We get disinfectants, bleach.
You just put your
cleaning
phone on.
supplies, everybody's looking for face
Well, then
masks,
Youngerman's the
so
next break,
just
but that's
saying
going to be at
that we can't
8:30,
look
so
with
take
a
that.
face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face, so
You just put it on speaker and put it up to your mic on your headset.
Every one of your customers that come in a free bandana, just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to get back to working it out, and everybody
What?
required to have their face
Not for an
covered.
hour, but it's only 7:20, but at 8:30.
Your mouth and your nose, and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply.
It's not for an hour.
Treat yourself to a new growth.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because
Well,
you
thank
can
you, thank
wash
you.
them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. And get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Yes, yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. And just a reminder, all Steve Kane Show sponsors are open for business, including Wings Plus. Steve and I, we went by Wings Plus Friday morning. Holy smokes. They got it down to a science, this takeout over at Wings Plus, the Ramblewood location. I got word that the Sample Road location will reopen in a couple of weeks. We don't have an exact opening date. They're remodeling the Sample Road location. But the Ramblewood location of Wings Plus is open. They've got this carry out down to a science. So that's on Ramblewood and University Drive in Coral Springs. And I've got the address and phone number at stevekaneshow.com. Lunch and dinner. Wings Plus, the Ramblewood location. And that's Brian Walsh's second location. We just usually talk about the Sample Road location, but the Ramblewood location is also Brian Walsh, the owner of Wings Plus. All right, well, welcome back, guys. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Yeah, so de Blasio wants you to photograph other New Yorkers, send it in, text it in, do whatever it is, and rat them out. I mean, what? Because they are exercising their First Amendment right of assembly. You know, that's what the Democrats are. And well, so this is the next point. So, well, you got to wait, Steve. I just came back from the break. Steve locked himself out. All right. Let me play. Steve, I mean, come on. All right, let me play a commercial. Steve locked himself out. of the door of the front of the building. So I'll take a break, unscheduled, a quick one, because I'll run to... See, I'm on the air! I'm on the air. No, this is a professional broadcast. I know. It might not sound like it, but it is. Let's take the quick break, and I'll go let Steve in. Why are you banging? Here. I had to...
Family goes for all our dental needs. Brighton Dental Care doesn't want cost to stop you from being able to eat the foods you love again and live in comfort. That's why, for Steve Kane listeners, they're offering implants. Get this, for just $3,500. That includes 2 implants plus a lower denture. Now, if you go to a dentist in Boca or in Aventura, they're going to charge you $6,000 for the exact same implants and denture. What do I put on? My head is $6,000, but at Brighton Dental Care, just
but not for an hour. We've been in break for 10 minutes now because I had to go let you in.
Your lower denture. Laugh and live with confidence. Call Brighton Dental Care at 954-92...
All right, we're back. I know, back-to-back breaks. Steve locked himself out of it. Well, do we have to get, for me to get from the front door to the studio takes 5 keys. We are very secure. You have to be, right, with the people we have. But, you know, it takes, I got 2 keys for the front door. Then when I get through and there's an alarm. When I get to the front door, there's a second door in the lobby. That takes a key. Then I got the key to my studio. It takes 5 keys to get from the front door to here. All right, guys, welcome back. Appreciate you bearing with us. So lots happening here. You got to plug everything in there, and you can hear Steve.
Plug everything
in.
Okay. Give it the old college try.
Yeah, you know, what can you do? I've lost my train of thought now. Where was I? Where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. So, the president yesterday had really an epic press. It was late. And I know, you know, these press conferences, they're every day, and you might be like, you know, here's my advice for the press conferences. You know what I do for the president's press conferences? You know what I do? I put them on, and I don't sit there the whole time. I don't have 2.5 hours just to sit there and watch I wait until he starts taking questions from the press, because that's when it gets good and interesting.
That's the action.
Yeah, that's where the important stuff comes out.
That's where the boys are.
Yeah. He had a run-in, and let me, if I can pull this up. Hold on. I know I got it here. Hold on. I know I got it here. Let's see. Okay. He had a very nasty reporter from CBS who's an Asian American lady. And he had asked her who she's with, and...
He always does that when it's an oppositional...
Well, sometimes he doesn't know who they are because they're not in there as often as some others.
He doesn't recognize them. He assumes they're from a foreign...
Well, no. She had an American accent and all. But this woman in particular, she's Asian American. He asked her who he was with because she's not in there often. He didn't know who she was. They haven't done this yet. But it won't take long for them to say that he asked her that because she's Asian American. He was going to accuse her of being Chinese. She didn't have an accent. A couple weeks back, he had a confrontation with the reporter. She could hardly speak English. You know, I couldn't hardly understand her. She was with an outlet out of Hong Kong, which is China. And he asked her who she was with. This woman had an American accent. It's like Connie Chung. You know what I mean? So it wasn't anything about her national, but they'll go that way. And this particular reporter, she got a little bit of press. She reported some fake news that she was called out on by the White House several times and dropped it. She's the reporter who said a few weeks ago that a White House official referred to coronavirus to her as the Kung flu. Kung flu.
Oh,
remember that?
That's clever.
Yeah, and she was called out, the Kung flu. And she was called out by Kellyanne Conway and others at the White House. Well, tell us who said this, because if we have this racist running around the West Wing, we want to track them down. And then the story just kind of disappeared. I started to think she made it up, right? Like that phony photograph out of Colorado I was talking about earlier. So that's the reporter. So she's with CBS, and she got into a bit of a confrontation with the president yesterday.
And by the way, when you issued the ban, the virus was already here.
Okay, and you know how many people, when I issued the ban, how many cases of virus were in the United States when I issued the ban? Do you know the number?
There was...
No, how many cases? Remember I said one person? How many cases were here when I issued the ban?
But did you know...
No, you have to do your research.
Okay, now see, now this is a common thing Trump does. I'll play the rest of it. Now, if you remember a couple weeks back, a reporter asked him about the price of oil, so he asked the guy what the price of a barrel of oil was, and he didn't know.
Do you recognize what he's doing? You recognize
What's
the
that?
technique?
Yeah, he's like a talk show host, yeah.
Not a talk show host. Who is the one that taught that technique?
Joyce Kaufman?
Joe Pine. Always when you're
Yeah.
entering into a debate, put
Yeah.
them on the defensive, ask them a question.
Well, what he's
to which
yeah,
they never have the answer.
and Trump's been doing this a lot lately in the White House press briefings. What they have are talking points. And when, like 2 weeks ago, when the guy was asking about the price of gas, and he said, "What's a barrel of oil go for?" and the guy didn't know, and he wouldn't. You remember that? So this is a play. Now they get. I'm going to start it from the beginning because there's a little back and forth. This is the fake news Kung Flu reporter from CBS.
To the ban, the virus was already here.
Okay, and you know how many people, when I issued the ban, how many cases of virus were in the United States when I issued the ban? Do you know the number?
There was...
No, how many cases? Remember I said one person. How many cases were here when I issued the ban?
But did you know...
No, you have to do your research. How many...
I did my research. On the 23rd of March, you said you knew this was going to be a pandemic.
Can I tell you what? I did know it. I did know it. All I have to do is look. Anybody knew it. Just, are you ready? How many cases were in the United States when I did my ban? How many people had died in the United States?
So do you acknowledge that you didn't think...
Keep your voice down, please. Keep your voice down.
Did you not?
How many cases were in the United States? I did a ban where I'm closing up the entire country. How many people died?
And that's a fair point.
How many people died in the United States? And yet I closed up the country, and I believe there were no deaths, 0 deaths at the time I closed up the country. Nobody was there. And you should say thank you very much for good judgment.
Okay, so I mean, he just nailed her. You know, these reporters, they're not accustomed to that. There's
He's a pro. He's an old-fashioned pro.
Well, yeah, and the press are all weak. I mean, if this was a press conference, if this was a press conference 25 years ago, they'd have she's with CBS News, okay, the Kung Flu lady there. This is the thing about these reporters. They're all third-rate amateur hour. And the reason that is there's too much media today. It used to be in the old days of the White House press corps, you know, you had the big shots, right? You had ABC, NBC, CBS, New York Times, Washington Post, a few other people there, Reuters, AP, you know, people like that. Yeah, now there are so many media outlets like we've never had before, right? People make it on the air, even at networks, that wouldn't even be able to get on a local news station before, because there's you know, top-tier skilled journalists. There aren't that many of them ever. And now that there are so many openings, you know what it'd be like in professional sports if you all of a sudden next season you had 200 new NFL teams. Well, you'd have a lot of professional football players that couldn't make the cut when they had, you understand? And that's what's going on in the media. So in the media, because there's so much media today, you have amateurs that are finding their way with national outlets and networks because there's too many vacancies and not enough qualified people.
They can't hold their own against the president.
I don't think they can't, you know, he did good there, but the reality is they can't hold their own against anyone. In fact, yesterday, you might have seen this online, it was circulating all over. Dan Crenshaw, he's the Republican with the patch over the eye, was on with Bill Maher over the weekend, and he cleaned Bill Maher's clock. And I've got the audio. I'm not sure if I'm going to play it or not. I might play some of it. The reason that Bill Maher had his clock cleaned is 2 reasons. One, he had talking points about Trump and coronavirus, and Dan Crenshaw had the answers, okay? I don't know if they were written down on the patch underneath over, but he doesn't have an eye there, so he couldn't if they were. But he had like the facts, and Bill Maher had talking points, okay? And this woman here, she had talking points, and she didn't have facts. And the other thing, Bill Maher, like these other guys, they're doing their show remotely. He's doing it from his house, which is a very nice house, I'm sure, in Beverly Hills. I know he lives in Beverly Hills because I was out there years ago and saw him at I was driving by the celebrity houses and saw him at I saw Bill Maher in Beverly Hills. And, of course, what was he doing? He was driving a convertible. So everybody's like, look, Bill Maher, he's in a convertible. But because he's in his house and not his studio, he doesn't have his audience to applaud or agree with him every time he says something to a Republican. So this
throws off his timing.
Doesn't just throw off his timing, it does, but it also shows, he can say something stupid, like, and have talking points like he did with Crenshaw, but if he's got 300 people in the audience applauding when he says it, it sounds like he won the point. He doesn't have the audience to back up the talking points, and Dan Crenshaw just filleted Bill Maher. Maybe we'll play some of it. I've got some other sound bites I want to get into as well. All right, listen, it's 34 minutes after the hour. Steve's joining us. It is Monday. You are listening to the longest running radio. Now, again, I'm making a big hype today about this being the longest running radio show because someone called at the top of the hour who was challenging me on that claim.
Really?
Yeah, and I put them on hold, and they hung up. And I would like them to call back. They said this is not the longest running radio show in Florida.
Well, now that they know you're going to nail them with the truth, they're not.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to say. They may have it. There may be. I don't know. They hung up. I want to hear. They may have. If they want to, people challenge this from time to time. Listen, if this is not the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, we'll say the second longest running radio show. Or I don't know. I don't want to give out inaccurate information. So if you're still awake and have not passed out yet, because they seemed a little intoxicated, but if you're still out there and you want to challenge that this is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, you know the number. You called it at the top of the hour. I'd love to hear from you. All right, let's take our break. 35 minutes after. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, most people would just blow you off, right? Yeah. Almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them and you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Hurricane season is right around the corner, and the predictions are that the 2020 hurricane season will be busier than normal, with 16 named storms predicted, 8 turning into hurricanes, and 4 growing into major hurricanes. That's according to scientists at Colorado State University. That's 3 more named storms and hurricanes, and 2 more major hurricanes than they predicted at this time last year. Do you have the hurricane coverage you need and the coverage you want for your home, condominium, or commercial property?
What?
In case a hurricane hits, call Debbie and I will.
People have been around for a long time, like Trump.
8080 954 753 8080. Debbie will review your policy at no charge and make sure you have the coverage you want and the coverage you need. Once a hurricane hits, it's too late. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors right now. 954 753 8080. 954 753 8080.
Listen to this.
All right. Okay, now we are back. Steve's joining us. I'm Brian. Now, you might see this. I've got some. See this right here on my arm? Can you see that?
What
paint.
did you do these?
It's paint.
How did you get that on?
Well, because I was painting, and
I get it. I bet I know where you were too.
Well, yeah, my living room, because I was painting my living room. But what what happened was I did this. Well, yeah, but not just any Ace Hardware, because there's lots of Ace Hardwares, but there are only two that are sponsoring the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, the Steve Kane Show. That's the Deerfield Ace Hardware and Beach Ace Hardware at Lauderdale by the Sea. And, you know, since we've had Ace Hardware, my home is it's everything. They get the honey-do list. It's getting longer all the time since Ace Hardware joined us. And over the weekend, if you go to my Instagram, I took a picture after I did this. I painted my living room over the weekend. And I have paint on my forearm here because this morning, hold on, we'll get you in a second. This morning I was leaving and I saw two spots that needed touch-up that I missed. And so I didn't want my wife to come out, and because I painted the whole living room and it looked so beautiful. And there was just these two little spots I missed. So I got out the paint and the roller and did the touch-up this morning before I came into the studio at about 4:45 in the morning. I'm painting out of my living room. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? But let me tell you something. When I finished painting the living room yesterday, my wife and daughter separately said the same thing to me. They weren't even in the room when the other one said, "This is the best job you've ever done painting a room in the house." Because I painted the house several times. We lived in the house many, many years. And the reason that is because I went to Ace Hardware. And there's a particular reason why. Why is my paint job better because I went to Ace Hardware as opposed to going to, I don't have to say the big box stores, Lowe's or Home Depot. Because at Ace Hardware, when you go in there, they have experts, right? They're all either carpenters or painters or electricians or plumbers, and now they're working over at Ace Hardware, Deerfield, or BJ Ace Hardware. They ask you, what are you doing? Okay, what are you painting? I got the right paint, which I normally don't get, and I also got the right brushes and other things. So for the very first time ever painting the walls of my home, I didn't get any paint on the ceiling, which was a miracle.
You increased your expertise because of this marvelous client.
Yeah, I mean, when you go out there, it's amazing because I've been getting the wrong brushes. I've been getting and also I got a couple other things too that made the job a lot easier. So Ace Hardware Deerfield is just south of Hillsborough Beach Boulevard, west side of US 1 Federal Highway, and Beach Ace Hardware is at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. And when you stop in, if you mention the Steve Kane Show, they'll give you a free bandana. Since you got to wear masks and bandanas everywhere now, you can get one free. And the good thing about these over at Ace Hardware that they give you for free when you mention the Steve Kane Show, they're thicker than the average bandana. They're the bandanas that you see lawn crews and construction crews wear, so they're thicker because they want to block out if they're doing things from breathing in. And since they're bandanas, you can wash them and reuse them. You don't want to be using the same mask all the time. You can wash and reuse these things. So anyway,
see your elbow?
Right there, little blue. Yeah.
You're moving it. Also.
Well, I got it all over.
It's like a bluish, right?
Yeah, that's the color of my living room.
That's your living room?
Yeah, it's the living room color. The blue, not the flesh color. The blue is the living room color.
You work with Ace Hardware, you know what you're doing.
I know what I'm doing.
I'm not going to question it.
I don't know. Well, let me take a call here real quick. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah?
My name is Colleen.
Colleen, yes.
And I'm from Virginia Beach. Last Friday, we were out on the corner, a busy corner. There was about 20 of us. We were doing social distancing, and we were there at 4:30 in the afternoon. We were going to leave at 6. At 6 o'clock, we were getting ready to leave. The people across the street, I told my friend who was with me on one corner, I said, look, the police can't coming.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yeah, so I walked across the street, and they didn't tell me what happened until we went back to the parking lot to our cars. And the police said that if we didn't leave, that they were going to call in backup.
Oh, my goodness.
And give us all tickets.
For what? What's the ticket for?
Being out on the corner. They said our governor.
Being out on the corner. I know, so far as being out on the corner, even if you're a street walking prostitute on the corner, they can't cite you until you solicit sex. So in Virginia, you can't be out on the corners of the streets?
Right. While we're supposed to stay at home.
Supposed to stay at home. Well, Virginia, which of course is where, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington are from. You've got this governor up there. And my question for your governor is this. In that yearbook photograph, is he in the Klansman uniform or in blackface? Which do you think?
I think he's in the blackface.
You think he's in black? I think he's in the Klansman uniform. Will you say blackface?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
let me tell you, what we're going to do on the 22nd,
Uh-huh.
we're going up to Richmond in
Oh.
our cars, and we're going to be driving around. Well,
Uh-oh.
our so-called racist governor
Yeah.
closed off most of the street around the Capitol.
This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Okay, so this governor that either is in the Klansman uniform or blackface has closed off the roads into Richmond, Virginia. Do you know?
Around the Capitol.
Yeah, well, that's the capital. Now, you being in Virginia, you may know the answer to this. When was the last time the roads to Richmond were blocked off? Do you know when? I do.
When we went up there for the Second Amendment.
No, not that. The Civil War. Yeah, the Confederate capital.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're telling me that the Klansman wearing or blackface wearing, we don't know which for sure. The governor hasn't confirmed if he was in blackface or in the Klansman uniform. He is doing what has not been done since Jefferson Davis was in power in Richmond. He's blocking off the roads to the Virginian capital, the Confederate capital. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. But I'll tell you this. Unfortunately for Virginia, this is the problem you have in Virginia, is that all of the Democrats that work for the government, the bureaucracies, the bureaucracy of Washington, most of them live in Virginia. And they carry your whole, state, to this Klansman blackface wearing governor, because you've got all. And what I find very interesting is when you go to the bureaucracy of the government, it's very liberal, largely African American. So you have this very liberal federal government bureaucracy, many of them black, that are voting for a governor who's either in a Klansman uniform, and by the way, that was a real Klansman uniform. That wasn't sheets and a pillowcase. That was the real deal. Or in blackface. And, the governor in Virginia is doing all these crazy things, blocking off the roads to Richmond, going after law-abiding gun owners, citing people that are driving around in their cars in Virginia Beach. Yet no one in the media talks about him in the Klansman uniform or the blackface. I find that interesting. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. But, so over the weekend, crazy things happen. Let me see, what time is it? Well, let me play this clip. I got one after the break. I want to play a clip from Joy Reid, and it's too long to play now because it's, This one, this is a snob who is in isolation in New York City, a writer from the New Yorker who's in isolation. And it looks to be a very large apartment. It's easy to be isolated and not go to work when you're a writer and you don't have to leave your house and you can just write liberal crap and the New Yorker sends you checks and you live in a big old fancy apartment that most people couldn't afford to live in. So when you, you know what I mean? It's easy to say, stay at home and don't leave when you work from home. Yeah, when you work from home, other people, they've got kids to feed and they don't have the New Yorkers sending them checks to write liberal crap. Well, anyway, this is a writer from the New Yorker talking about people like the last caller who are coming out in protest in Virginia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and elsewhere, who are just saying, we want to go to work. I've got kids to feed. I've got car payments to make. I've got to make rent. I got to make mortgage payments. I got no money coming in. I need to get back to work. This is what this snob who works from home for the New Yorker says about people like the last caller.
Rhetoric, which is often racist and anger-laced and anti-elitist.
Anti-elitist. Well, holy smokes. We can't be anti-elitist. That's a new one, isn't it? So I guess they consider themselves...
Wearing the badge of elitism proudly.
Yeah, she slipped. The elitists don't usually call themselves elitists. I've never... It's a negative.
deprecatory.
Yeah, so this is the writer from the New Yorker, a self-proclaimed elitist. Let me go back.
It's the language that excites the sort of the lower educated part of his base, those sort of the white male base.
Okay, white male, fewer white males go to, uneducated. See, the reason that a lot of white males are not college educated is because when they get out of high school, they have to do something that they're begging to do now. That's work. And they may not have time to go. Like, I went to college as an adult while I was working, right? I wasn't like this New Yorker lady. Okay, I graduated high school. I'm going off to college to hang out for 7-8 years. But anyway, let me go back here a little bit. This self-proclaimed elitist.
And anger laced and anti-elitist is the language that excites the sort of the lower educated part of his base, those sort of the white male base particularly. And so he's saying things that make his supporters feel good.
Okay, yeah, I played that clip because how dare you be anti-elitist? Don't you know? She writes for the New Yorker. She's with the elite. And if you...
she may be elite, but she still talks with that New York accent.
And she slipped. The elitists don't typically refer to themselves as the elitist, and I've never heard one of these elitists refer to Trump supporters as anti-elitists before.
When we get back from our break, are we approaching a break here?
Yeah, we are taking one now.
Oh, wait, before you, I request permission to set the record straight on a couple of questions that I don't
Okay.
that I'm confused about, and you are considered, certainly in talk circles in this town,
That's the setup.
you are considered the ultimate arbiter of...
We're not, I don't think we're I saw a bus drive by me at an intersection that had another radio station on it, and they said South Florida's only talk on the side of the bus with this other radio station. I couldn't believe. Only local talk. Only local talk, and almost everybody there is syndicated. But
We'll be back right after this.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM,
850.
AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for out, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Right now, the U.S. is in the midst of a deadly opioid epidemic. In South Florida alone, someone suffers an overdose every 2 hours, either from heroin, fentanyl, or some other prescription medication that's as close as the family medicine cabinet. In fact, Mom and Dad's medicine cabinet is frequently the gateway to the horrors of hardcore addiction down the road. Drug problems left unattended are only going to get worse. This is not something you can do on your own. You need expert professional help, and if your family is disintegrating in front of your eyes and you feel helpless, I'm here to tell you that help is available. Call my good friend Sal at the Edge Recovery, 561 area code 523-4325. This is his personal cell phone, 561-523-4325. If your loved one refuses treatment, the Edge Recovery will conduct an intervention and get them into the treatment plan that they need. The Edge Recovery offers every option from intervention to 30-day rehab to sober living to counseling with a licensed therapist, as well as group therapy treatment. It's covered by most insurance, but no matter what your situation is, the Edge Recovery has options for you.
This is
Call
interesting.
Sal at the Edge Recovery. Do it today. 561 area code 523-4325. Again, that's Sal's personal cell phone. 561-523-4325.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we are back.
Oh, boy.
Steve Kane, the Steve Kane Show, longest running whatever.
Radio show in Florida.
Yes.
In the state of Florida. I was just reading this tweet from George Takei. If I play this next clip. George Takei, Mr. Sulu. He says, this is an interesting thing, okay? And I'll tell you why it's an interesting thing before I read the tweet of George Takei. George Takei was in a Japanese-American internment camp.
Really?
A lot of liberals call it Japanese internment camps. The internment camps that the Democrats had in place in the 1940s were American citizens of Japanese descent. And that's why it was, they weren't Japanese citizens. They were Americans of Japanese descent who were put in internment camps. And George Takei is obsessed with this. And because he was in one and no one talks about it, and I can understand.
Did they torture him?
No, there's the United States. We didn't torture people, but we snatched them and put them in these internment camps. Well, not we, the Democrats did before I was born. But George Takei is obsessed with this. And I've spent time with George Takei on a couple of occasions, and it's very annoying because what do you want to talk to George Takei about? Star Trek. What does he talk about? The Japanese internment camps. That's all he talks about. People being snatched from their homes, parents and kids being snatched. And it's relevant to this. He tweeted George Takei 46 minutes ago, which is amazing because he's in California, I believe. So it's coming up on 5 a.m. in California. So at about 4 in the morning, George Takei is up tweeting. And this is what he tweeted about the Let Us Get Back to Work rallies to end the shutdown. Any parent who brings their kid to a Lift the Shutdown rally without proper social distancing, where participants are not wearing masks or face coverings, should be charged with child endangerment. Put yourself at risk, you're an idiot. Put your kid at risk, you're a criminal. So he wants to criminalize parents. Now, does this apply to Chris Cuomo, who has coronavirus and went to the Hamptons with his whole family, including his children? Or George Stephanopoulos. But here's the thing, George Takei. So any parent who brings...
I wonder if George brings his kids to...
he would have to have them to bring. But, George Takei, I'm a big fan of George Takei. He's Sulu from... I'm wearing a Star Trek t-shirt right now, okay? I mean, I'm a big fan of George Takei.
Very pretty.
It's not pink. It's black and gold. No, it says Star Trek Picard, the new Star Trek. And I'm a big fan of George Takei. I've spent time with George Takei. He's a friend of a very good friend of mine. And I knew he was gay before he came out of the closet because he used to bring his boyfriend, who's now his husband, Brad, to all the Star Trek conventions. He was the first openly gay person I ever met was George Takei. But anyway, back to all this stuff, okay? Criminalizing, it's easy for George Takei to say stay at home and don't go anywhere because George Takei has not had meaningful work since, gosh, I don't know. Star Trek went off the air in 1969, and since then he's had a guest spot. He was on an episode of Miami Vice back in '86.
You don't count the residual.
So yeah, there's a lot of these Hollywood actors, most of them like George Takei, who don't work. Who, and I know he's on Stern. He does a lot of his Stern stuff over the phone or remote, you know what I mean? George Takei and a lot of actors, Robert De Niro, all these actors, stay at home, lock yourself in. What they want you to do is stay at home and watch Netflix, and they get paid because every time I watch Star Trek, that's residuals. If I watch Goodfellas, De Niro gets a residual. All these Hollywood people are encouraging, it's easy for them to say, stay home. They don't work. Even big actors work a few months a year, right? But people like George Takei and De Niro are under stay-at-home orders anyway because no one hires them to work anymore. And it's easy, and George Takei, believe it or not, he's very wealthy. He did a lot of real estate investing in the 70s, very wealthy.
Certainly not by virtue of his talent.
No, and one question I've never asked George Takei, and I never would ask him, because if I ever talk to George Takei, I'm always sucking up, right, because the Star Trek stuff. But he was in the Green Berets with John Wayne, and he played a South Vietnamese captain who was working with John Wayne. And my question would be to George Takei, did John Wayne know you were gay? did John Wayne know you were gay, or were you in the closet back then? Because I know on Star Trek they all knew he was gay, and anyone who's ever met George Takei before he was out of the closet knew he was gay. The guy couldn't hide it. I wonder if John Wayne knew he was gay.
That's a great question.
Or did he hide it?
What do you think?
And another question I think he probably did because he couldn't hide it, and John Wayne, all-American conservative, didn't mind. Another question is, why did you stay in the closet until you were done working for life? And when you had no chance of ever getting a meaningful acting role, did you all of a sudden come out of the closet? I'd like to know. But that's George Takei. So yesterday on MSNBC, they're obsessed with Americans that are exercising, which I believe their First Amendment right. I might be wrong on the amendment. I think it's First Amendment right, freedom of assembly. You can assemble, and the left are very upset that Americans are going where they want, when they want, without permission from the government. It's crazy. And like the people that went to the beach in Jacksonville, they're having a fit. And these anti-lockdown, anti-shutdown protests over the weekend, the media on the left are having a fit. And, there's a scene in Hunt for Red October this is a very good scene, and it's so interesting. It's with Sam Neill, was the first officer on Sean Connery's submarine. And before all the action happens, Sam Neill, he's in Jurassic Park, he's talking to Sean Connery, and they talk about what they're going to do after they get to America and defect with the submarine. And Sam Neill says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a pickup truck, I'm going to move to Montana, and then I'm going to drive across America from state to state, and I'm not going to need any permits, because I guess you needed permits to travel in the Soviet Union. It's kind of, I don't know if you really did, but they said you did in Hunt for Red October. Well, that's what the left want to do in this country now. People are assembling wherever they want. They're going where they want, and the left just can't have this. So,
it's an interesting perspective, but
it was my build up to the soundbite, but that's okay.
Go.
But I wanted to now, what were you going to say? Because it's the time. It's time for the top almost anyway. I have to play it after the top. Okay, so after the top of the hour, I'm going to play a clip from Joy Reid and her show yesterday, and they were, well, I'm not going to characterize it till we play, but we'll take our break, and after the top of the hour, I'll play the audio that I did this long build-up for after the break. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Brian. Steve's here. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's 8 o'clock. We'll be right back.
FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Attention seniors over the age of 65. In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you have recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8888.
So when you call Richard Pearl, you put it on speaker and you hold it up to your mic like I'm doing. But your headset, that's all. We did it before, it's no big thing.
I know. It's just that we have two different ways of handling. When I make mistakes or rough, I like to incorporate them in a show like, whereas rather than stumble around and look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Hi, this is George Corey
You know what
of
I'm
the Soul
saying?
Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all your podiatric.
I got some more audio. I got a bunch of audio I haven't played yet. I was gonna.
So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060.
Well, I said I was going to play that audio when we got back.
Call the Soul Authority today.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And, you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you got to... I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? Yeah. You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them, they all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Make sure you subscribe.
1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Okay.
You are listening to
Yeah, this audio I have is good, yeah.
Radio show.
What? Half an hour. It's 8 o'clock.
Dial 1-888.
Show's flying by. Less than an hour to go.
All right. Yes, sir, Rudy.
Okay.
We are back. The last, the big 8 to 9 hour of the Steve Kane
Show's
Show,
flying by.
starring Brian Craig.
Oh, yeah. So Joy Reid over on MSNBC. And let me tell you, when I play clips from MSNBC, I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch. I do watch CNN, okay, and Fox and One American News. I don't watch MSNBC. And the reason I don't watch it is because the people on there are just so disgusting, I can't stand to watch it. So whenever I play a clip from MSNBC, I've usually found it on Twitter or something, or I've heard about it, or someone's told me about it. So I don't want you guys to think I watch MS. I do watch CNN. Now, this segment on the Joy Reid Show, this is a doozy. I can't wait to play. The reason I play it is I know most people don't watch MSNBC, so you wouldn't hear it any other way if I didn't play it. They're talking about these protests of people that don't want to be forced to self-isolate, and I'll tell you about these protests. It's one thing if you have people that are sick, that have coronavirus, that they can transmit to others. What the controversy is they're telling people that have not been exposed and are not sick that they got to stay home. And Joy Reid broadcast out in New York City, and they're two of the most famous New Yorkers today. Both have broken all guidelines. One last week, one this week, and I talked about them in the first hour. I'll just review it real quick before I play this. Fredo, Chris Cuomo, the governor's brother, got coronavirus. Right, he was supposed to be isolated in his basement. And he was spotted Easter Sunday in the Hamptons with his wife, 2 children, and another lady, not social distancing. A passerby on their bicycle saw him, recognized him, yelled out, "What the hell are you doing? You got the corona." Chris Cuomo threatened him, and he filed a police report. Today, there's a story in the New York Post. George Stephanopoulos of ABC's Good Morning America, who worked for Bill Clinton for many years, and before that, coincidentally, worked for Mario Cuomo, Fredo's father and the current governor's father when he was governor. His wife has coronavirus. He was spotted in a local, in the Hamptons, of course. He was spotted inside a local pharmacy that does curbside pickup and also delivers. He was spotted inside, not social distancing, even though his wife has the coronavirus, and he was exposed to it. He went into a pharmacy. So we've got these very elite people that either have corona or have been exposed to it from their spouse that are not adhering to any guidelines, okay? And Chris Cuomo infected his wife, and maybe Brooke Baldwin, because Brooke Baldwin at CNN, she also has it. Nobody else at CNN I know of that has it other than Fredo. So keep in mind, we've got 2 high-profile members of New York media that either have corona or have been exposed to it and have been spotted because they're famous people breaking all guidelines. So this is Joy Reid, also New York media, MSNBC in New York, talking about these protesters that have not been exposed to corona and don't have it, that just want to go back to work because they got bills to pay and kids to feed. So that's who they're talking about. And this is Joy Reid show yesterday and her panel. This is great.
Interesting is how these protests have started after all the headlines the last week or so about the disproportionate effect the virus is having in communities of color. And so when I look at these protests, what I see are a bunch of white people essentially saying, oh, it's affecting those people, so why do I have to change my life?
Okay, now there's more. Yeah, this is the Joy Reid panel. Yeah, so she's saying that since it's affecting blacks more than whites, these protesters that appear to be mostly white that we're seeing on television don't care because it's affecting those people. It's a bunch of nonsense. But anyway, they go on.
So that's what this is coming down to. In Boston, the numbers are the same as they are nationally. One of the public hospitals, Boston Medical Center, 82% of the COVID-19 cases are either black or Latino. These numbers are real, and I think what you're seeing out there in the protesters, who, by the way, are overwhelmingly white.
Oh my goodness.
Really talking about, though, it's quite noticeable, is that they don't care.
Because it's not relevant. Most people in America are white, so any gathering is mostly.
Care.
Yeah.
So they're out there waving American flags. They don't care about America. What they care about is Donald Trump and what Donald Trump has created. They don't care about the people risking their lives to keep this country moving.
Now, they're going to talk about what the protesters are really saying when they say, we want to go back to work. That's not what they're really saying. They're really saying something else. Listen.
About empty, dangerous rebellion. All they want is another battle waged for their lost cause. This isn't a protest.
The re-election of Donald Trump. Because they've got Biden.
This is a temper tantrum.
Yeah, Michael, I feel like this is in your...
Now listen to this.
I'll let you respond to that.
Yeah, see...
Now Michael here, it's in his lane, right? And he's going to tell you what the protesters are really saying. They're not really saying we want to go back to work, I've got kids to feed and bills to pay. That's not what they're saying. They're saying something else entirely. Listen.
This isn't a protest. This is a temper tantrum.
Yeah, Michael, I feel like this is in your lane, so I'm going to let you respond to that.
Yeah, see, again, I disagree with the notion that we shouldn't be covering this because I think it is more than just...
Okay, now not covering this. There's a debate in the mainstream media, MSNBC in particular. You know how they don't want to carry the Trump press conferences? They also are debating whether or not the news should cover these protests that you're seeing on TV. Okay, and the reason they don't want to carry the protest is because they don't want to see that there's support to get the hell back to work.
It's the same reason they don't want the news conference.
Yeah.
Because anytime the light of day is cast upon the situations of the principles, Trump looks good, and his detractors, Cuomo, who is a potential detractor,
maybe,
he's not Cuomo. Let me tell you something. Cuomo can't compete with.
No one can compete with Trump.
Donald. I mean,
they're debating not carrying the protest because they don't want to see that there's popular support to get back to work. But listen, he's not done.
The notion that we shouldn't be covering this because I think it is more than just I don't care about these black and brown people.
It's more than that.
I think that what they're saying.
What else is there except that?
When you see the numbers, when you see the statistics, when you see the CDC data is, I want more black and brown people to die. Right? That can't be. If you want the government to open up, then you want more black and brown people to die. We see it happening in real time. We see it in Donald Trump's tweets. We see it in the data. There can be no other outcome if you open up what they call their society or the business or the country.
Okay, now that's totally insane. Now
what he's saying, he just got the colors wrong.
Yeah.
What he's saying is that the white people want the black people to die. It's the black people want Trump to die.
Well, and not only listen to this. Now let me pull up this story.
They can beat him.
I forgot to pull this story up during the break. Let me find this story. There was a columnist from the Miami Herald who has made national news. I can't find the article right now. Let me see if I can find this article. They tweeted something very controversial about all of this. Let me see if I can find this. This is crazy town here. In the Miami Herald, I went to the Miami Herald. They didn't have any follow-up stories about this. I can't find the story. But I'll find it in a minute and I'll read it to you. I don't want to tell you what it says until I find the story because it's it's quite controversial what they're doing. But everything on and on MSNBC is the race card. I mean, my goodness.
I watched him last night. It's really pathetic. Although it's fun to watch. I'll tell you, it is fun to watch. The debating,
Here it is.
Trump's wanting to loosen things up.
Yeah.
And
it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
People wanting to go back to work.
This is why these idiots cannot win anything.
Yeah.
Is Trump going to open things? If Trump has the inside, first of all, can we all agree that Trump knows more about what's going on than with all his advisors?
Oh, yeah.
Than anyone else?
No doubt.
Trump knows what's in the pipe. He knows what's coming down. He knows what the cures are.
Yeah.
He knows the chronology of it, what's going to come out next week that people aren't talking about this week. You're going to tell me these people think Donald Trump is so stupid that he knows that he can't get a handle on this thing, and he knows there's going to be a big explosion, and people are going to be dropping dead in the street, and he does a show like he did last night where he gets up and takes credit for all.
Yeah, it's insane.
Do these people ever stop and think?
Now I found this. Now listen to this. Now this is from this is a Miami Herald columnist, which is one of our South Florida papers. And out of we have two papers in South Florida, the Sun Sentinel, which is Broward County, and the Miami Herald. The Miami Herald is considered to be the more credible of the two. The other one is just a rag. That I imagine if toilet paper gets slow, you could use. Listen to this. Now, this is in regards to some Florida beaches opened up in Jacksonville over the weekend, and they were packed. And the South Florida beaches are still closed. Listen to this. As some Florida beaches reopened under social distancing guidelines, Miami Herald Metro columnist Fabiola Santiago tweeted on Sunday that Florida now this is a Metro columnist for the Miami Herald. She tweeted this. Florida residents packing the beaches, quote, should work nicely to thin the ranks of supporters of President Donald Trump and Governor Ron DeSantis.
Because that's what they wanted, is mainly to kill off all their voters.
Well, this person, they think, this is an example of the liberal saying publicly what they say in private and put it on tweet. Now, since then, they have removed the tweet and have they were called out by a lot of people.
The editors finally read the paper?
Well, it didn't make the paper. It was on Twitter, and they did delete it. They did delete the tweet of this should do nicely to thin the ranks of Trump and DeSantis supporters, and said this. I deleted the tweet commenting on people at the beach because it didn't accurately convey my sentiment, and I want to apologize for the phrase I used that offended many people. Regardless of political differences, I would never wish any harm on anyone other than in the tweet where you said it would kill off Trump supporters and kill off DeSantis supporters. Let me tell you, the left are really showing themselves. Now, listen, today is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yes, thank you very much. And this is what I'm asking for my birthday from everyone in the audience, if you can. This is what I'm asking for you to do.
You're going to do the sea of green thing?
No, I'm not going to do that. No. I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm asking for people to do for my birthday. Do something for yourself, all right? Go to mypillow.com, and there are two incredible offers I want to tell you about, okay? The first offer is they have an American flag MyPillow that you can use, I don't know, it can be a decorative pillow, it can be a travel MyPillow, you can use it on the couch in the living room, your recliner. It's an American flag MyPillow. And when you use that, you'll see it right there on the left side of the website when you go to mypillow.com. When you use the promo code KANE at checkout, Kane, you buy one, you get one free. By the way, you don't have to get the American flag version. It comes in many different patterns and colors.
That's the one I like.
Yeah, but that's a great one. And the American flag pillow, when you use the promo code KANE, Kane at checkout, the American flag MyPillow, buy one, get one free, and free shipping. Now, next month is Mother's Day. And, I got my mother a MyPillow for Mother's Day last year. And it is the best Mother's Day gift I've ever given her. And the reason that is, out of every Mother's Day gift I've ever bought for my mother, it is the only one, I can tell you that one, both of us remember, and the only one she was using a year later. Because it was last Mother's Day, so it's been 11 months. She's been, and she mentions it to me all the time, about the My Pillow. And what had happened was she was staying over at my house one weekend for something. I can't remember what it was. And she says, "Can I sleep on one of those My Pillows that you're always talking about?" And my daughter actually gave her My Pillow to sleep on that night. We didn't have a My Pillow in the guest room then. And she was kind of laughing, like, "Come on, it's just a pillow, you know, what's it?" And the next morning, I didn't even have to ask. She told me, she's like, "That My Pillow is unbelievable." And it is. And it's unbelievable. You sleep better for a lot of reasons. One of the many reasons, there's many, but one in particular, that patented film Mike Lindell's always talking about, it fits your head and your neck perfectly, so you're not tossing and turning all night. And when you toss and turn, every time you toss or you turn at night, you wake up, even if you're not aware of it. It's like having sleep apnea. And every time you toss and turn, you wake up. Then you got to get back in REM sleep. With the My Pillow, you don't do that. Well, anyway, listen. At mypillow.com, when you use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout, when you buy one My Pillow, you can get the second My Pillow for free, and it makes a great Mother's Day gift. So go to mypillow.com, use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone. When you order by phone for both of these deals, the 2-for-1 free shipping with the American flag My Pillow, or the 2-for-1 standard My Pillow, when you order by phone, spell it out, K-A-N-E, so you make sure you get the deal. 1-800-716-4879. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
93 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk
It's
Network.
fun being the second.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic.
I just have a lot of, I have like a lot of stuff today. I just happen to have a lot of stuff today.
Really coming in during actually, we get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies, everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face cover. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana.
Yeah.
So the bandanas are a covering that cities are going to require as we start to go back to working it out that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use a bandana to cover your mouth and your nose.
Yeah.
And
Protect you. What's that?
And protect all those around. The other thing is,
I couldn't hear you.
What's the other liberal channel?
MSNBC? CNN.
These bandanas are reusable because
They're
you
all
can
up
wash
there
them. So
saying
stop
how
into Ace
these
Hardware
people are
in
going to be
Deerfield,
dropping
just
dead,
south
this
of
is
Hillsborough
dangerous.
Boulevard,
And
and
Trump
west
is
side
pulling
of
out all
US
the
1,
steps. He
and
knows,
Beach Ace Hardware,
obviously he knows
located
they're
at
going
232 Commercial
you know what's
Boulevard,
coming down
Lauderdale
the
by
next
the
week.
Sea, and get your
And he's
free
predicting
bandana from Ace Hardware.
that it's going to go great and that people are going to get happy in
Yeah.
a position.
From the signs and symptoms of
And
menopause, stop
they're
suffering.
idiots.
The next break is Richard Pearl.
Bioidentical
The next break is
hormone
Richard Pearl.
Bioidentical hormone pellet therapy will reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Your mood swings will disappear. You know, you're angry and want to hit someone and then cry the next
gonna need
minute.
you for a few
Those
minutes
moods
after
will
the
be
show.
gone. You will feel amazing, happy, sane, and normal. Your night sweats gone. That foggy brain will be lifted. You will sleep better, and you're not going to need that afternoon cup of coffee or a nap anymore. When your hormones are out of whack, you have zero interest in sex. You will get your libido and sexual desire back. Your husband or boyfriend will be a happy man. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490.
Listen to the Steve King Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
Oh, all right.
And
Next break.
next break.
Next break.
We're trying to get these phones working right, folks. Don't worry, we'll get it down, you know.
Yeah.
We're
By
not
July.
always so smooth, but
The coronavirus will be gone by the time we get it.
What?
The coronavirus will be gone. They'll have the vaccine before we get the phones back.
Did you see Trump's speech last night?
Some of it, yeah. I
It
saw
was
some.
especially memorable.
The press
He
conference.
is so optimistic. He is. Basically, you can tell he knows what they're about to release, and they really have, according to what I saw with my eyes, they've got a handle on this whole thing, and it's going to be over before you know it. And Trump is going to emerge the "I told you so" hero. But these idiots from CNN are saying, "Oh, he's sending people into danger," like Trump would, you know, knowing what's happening, because he is the one that has access to the inside information, knowing what's happening, like he would go out there and set up a massacre of his own people to blow the election.
Yeah.
I guess as they're figuring. But they just don't give him any credit.
Well, you know what it is with the left? I was talking about this earlier.
They're stupid.
They can't understand why he is, no matter what happens, porn stars, Russia, pandemic, more people are out of work today than during the Great Depression, and he's more popular. They don't understand why he's still so popular.
They don't get it.
They don't understand.
They never get it. How long we been doing this show? 20 years or
Long.
whatever it is?
I don't even know if I
From the
totally
day you
get it.
started up until today, they don't get it.
No.
We keep saying that. Why don't they get it?
No, they figure, okay, the economy, that'll get them. If the economy goes south, then we got it. They don't understand why is he so and right now it's obvious that it's the Democrats that are keeping the economy from opening up because they're fighting it so hard.
Right. The Democrats want a disaster because they win. That's what they want. They want to win. They don't care who dies, how many Americans are killed, as long as they're basically, conservatives that are killed. And that's the name of the game. And if it takes destroying the country to win the next election,
That's
they'll
right.
do it. They'll support the position that kills every American.
Did you hear me
Without a flinch.
Did you hear me talking about this picture in Colorado on your way up? The Tiananmen Square thing they're doing?
No.
There was a big protest with the shutdown in Colorado, right, over the weekend. You might see it on TV. There's this photograph that they're trying to circulate around the world. There's a protester, they got the line, they're in their cars, right? They're in the line of cars. And then there's someone wearing scrubs and a mask that they say is a healthcare worker who stood in front of the cars reenacting the Tiananmen Square, the Chinese protester in front of the tank, standing in front of the truck.
Recreating the moment.
And they're wearing a mask. They haven't been identified. They're wearing scrubs and one of those surgical masks. The scrubs look brand new. The mask looks brand new. They're not identified, and you can't see their face because they're wearing the mask. I think they're as much of a healthcare worker as I am. And if they happen to work in the healthcare field, they're not dealing with coronavirus patients. Those scrubs are brand new. And the left are trying to circulate that the healthcare workers, like in Tiananmen Square, they don't say Tiananmen Square. But I'm saying that. That's how the photo looks.
The other word that hasn't been mentioned through all this, that's a major driving force in this whole conflict, and you never hear them use the word, union. That's what it's about. This refund we're supposed to get, or whatever it was, Pelosi took the chips off the table to rearrange them because she wants to get other workers, the hospital workers and everything. It's all unions. That's why she's trying to add. She doesn't care about the average American. She cares about the union bosses. It's all so petty, and it's all so simple, and it's all so disgraceful when you stop and think
They're
about
Democrats.
it. Nancy Pelosi, I mean, what a disgrace Nancy Pelosi is. Can you believe that? Oh, well, we don't want to leave it, but they don't say the unions. They say the poor hospital workers, but that's not what it is. It's the unions. Because that's...
And first off, hospital workers make very good money. And, so far as nurses, which I guess are the, most... most registered nurses that work in a hospital work 4 days a week. Okay, now they work a long shift, but they work 4 days a week. They make huge money, and, give me a break. Yeah, some of the highest paid people work in hospitals in our society. You're not going to get people feeling sorry for the hospital workers. And I saw a story it was either the Herald or the Sun Sentinel last week in Miami at the big hospitals. They have special coronavirus beds, wings. Only 28% of the coronavirus beds were filled, right? That means 72% of them were empty. So part of the problem they're having, the hospitals are empty all over the country.
Well, and what the next step down that road is the reason they're empty is because Donald Trump has fixed this thing.
Well, yeah, and what? Yeah,
everybody doesn't realize it
that's
yet.
right.
By the end of the week, you can tell from what he said last night, he would have never come out so definitively and so ballsy with his predictions, his sanguine predictions.
Yeah.
Unless he knew they were going to win.
I was talking to a doctor over the weekend who works in an emergency room, and he said doctors and nurses are having their hours cut back, and some are even being furloughed. There's too many healthcare workers right now.
Yeah, surplus.
You know, because people aren't going to the emergency room for regular things anymore.
Right.
You know, and because they're afraid. But
Trump is
yeah.
going to emerge. If you watched last night, he actually, what he did, it is a little hard to take. He does sometimes when he goes on those ego trips, but it's fun to watch. He was taking his victory lap in advance last night, and he knows how to drive him crazy. You know, he praises all the things they've accomplished, and then at the end takes the credit for it.
Well, because he's done everything.
Absolutely.
Cuomo and de Blasio have done nothing for New York. Trump did everything for New York, and everybody knows it. All the hospitals, everything that they've done, the ventilator. Trump did it all, not Cuomo, not de Blasio.
No. And now Cuomo's trying to figure out how to get out and take a couple of parting shots.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to leave this thing in the shadow of Donald Trump.
And
He's going to leave it in the shadow of Donald Trump because Donald Trump's the guy who's going to fix it.
You know, I like how the mainstream media don't want to carry Trump's press conferences, but they carry Cuomo every day. And he's only the governor of one state. You know, this guy's the president of the whole union.
All right, let's take a break. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. We will return after these words.
95.3 FM.
All right, now you got to call Richard. That's his cell phone number. Call him on that. Call him and put it on speaker on your cell phone.
Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible...
But you got to have it on the speaker, and then you got to hold it up to the mic.
Antonio,
just don't mistakenly give that number.
What?
Then you got to hold it up to the mic.
Margate.
About the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire, everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires. And when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for that, man. Everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And Mike's a great guy.
Do call him now.
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tires.
Oh, no doubt, man.
What?
Speaker on.
Yeah, put the speaker on and call.
And find incredible
And you got to hold it up
deals
to
on
the
both new
mic.
And used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954.
I don't hear him.
Is that right?
Yeah. He hasn't answered you.
Phone 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hi, this is George Court.
Did you dial the number right? Hang up and call back. He didn't answer. Hang up and call back.
Tell him to call back?
No, you got to call him back. He didn't answer.
What?
Hang up and call him back. He's not answering. Did you call the right number?
Give the Soul Authority a call today.
I think so.
Oh, hang up and call back because he usually answers.
That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Hang up and call back.
Business owners, is your business open and you want to let your customers...
I can't do everything.
Can't. You offer and want to get the word out? Let people know you are open for business. This is Brian Craig. Call me at 1-888-465-2631. And let's talk about how the Steve Kane Show can get the word out that you are open for business. Don't let the coronavirus crisis put you out of business. Give me a call, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631.
Just can you, just for today,
Hey, there he is.
there you are, Richard Pearl. You almost ready?
Yeah, almost ready.
Can you hear me okay?
You got to pick it up, though.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
You got to pick it up. Put it up to the mic. All right, we're back.
And here he is, the man himself, the man you've been waiting for, Richard Pearl from Simply Natural, who simply has all the natural answers to all your natural questions. Richard, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
You got to hold it closer.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
We got some things to discuss. First of all,
We kind of know what's going on with this virus more and more each day. My show Saturday was really intense. I got so much
Steve Kane
response
show.
to it because of what I covered. But there's even more stuff out that
Hey, Ray,
I
hold
wasn't
on.
even aware of on Saturday. First of all, the U.S. National Institutes of Health awarded $3.7 million research grants to Wuhan Institute of Virology. The lab is the one that's in the center of the concerns about it being the original source of the coronavirus outbreak. The institute experimented on bats from the source, which is probably the source of the coronavirus. They were captured more than 1,000 miles away in Yunnan, and the sequencing of the coronavirus is traced to those same bats in the Yunnan caves. And the U.S. government funded research on coronavirus transmission in that lab for the past decade since the Obama administration. And if you look at the Wuhan Institute's list of partners, the National Institute of Health is on there, so is the University of Alabama, the University of North Texas, Harvard University, and National Wildlife Federation. There's another institute in the city of Wuhan. It's called the Wuhan Center for Disease Control. It's barely 3 miles from the market that they thought was the center of all this. But that one also seems to be some issues. The Wuhan Institute keeps more than 1,500 strains of deadly viruses, and it specializes in research on the most dangerous pathogens, particularly those carried by bats. Also, one of the reasons you're seeing such a high death rate in the U.S. is that U.S. hospitals get paid $13,000 to list a patient as a COVID-19 or a coronavirus, infection, and $39,000 to put them on a ventilator. And ventilators are now, when they're starting to look at the people with ventilators, it's actually killing a lot of the people, maybe more so than if they weren't on them at all. But again, $13,000 to list a patient as a coronavirus infection, and $39,000 to put them on a ventilator. So they have motivation to call everybody a coronavirus victim.
What a scam.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, what a scam. It's outrageous.
It is. And Dr. Anthony Fauci, his National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, the area that he's in charge of, funded the study. It's one of the reasons why he keeps saying there's no relationship with the virus and any of these research centers, because he's the one who funded it. He's the one who also skirted U.S. law. We weren't allowed to do these type of research here in the U.S. because it was so dangerous and there was no practical value for it. There was nothing good that could come out of it. So Dr. Fauci funded this outside of the United States.
Oh boy.
He's responsible for this
Yeah, man, wait till that gets. If people want to get more, if people want to go, I'm sorry.
On all of it. He doesn't want hydroxychloroquine or anything else. There's a study out of France that shows it's 98% effective. He doesn't want it. Him and Bill Gates, which I'll get into tomorrow.
It's a scandal.
Those two guys
it's a scandal.
are pushing vaccines, and they have a lot of pull. They have a multi-million-dollar deal between them, which I'll get into tomorrow. But those two people are the ones who shut down the United States, along with Dr. Birx, CDC, NIH.
All right, well, it's all coming out, and they heard it here first on the Steve Kane Show. If listeners want to find out more about this, tell them where to go.
Well, I'm not going to talk about this at the store, but I'll talk about health at the store.
Okay.
If you want to reach me for health reasons, call me at 954-741-4045. If you want to hear more, listen to Steve Kane tomorrow.
Have a great day, my friend, and we'll speak tomorrow. All right?
All right, thanks.
You take care.
All right. Okay, I want to get Ray here. I got Ray on the line. Hey, Ray, good morning.
Hey, happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you, Ray.
Be really good to yourself because you deserve it. I'm
Oh,
sure
thank
Steve
you.
knows how much you do for him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Steve's absolutely right about how they have blown. The Democrats are responsible for blowing this so out of proportion. Everybody's getting fed up, and it's really time to reopen everything. You know what the Dems don't like about all these protesters, right? Because they're all showing up the American flags. and they have to even have big Trump flags.
Well, no, what they don't like, what they.
It's one word.
Yeah.
You got everything
Yeah.
else is secondary,
Yeah.
except the one word, election. Election 2020.
Yeah.
That's all that they care about.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, and the funny thing is, their hope is so futile anyway. Even if they accomplish everything they want to accomplish, they're not going to have any luck beating Trump. And that's the only thing that's in their mind, and they'll do anything to make that happen.
Well, what they don't like about the these protests in the lockdowns, it's off, is that they're also wearing Trump gear. I mean, they want to get back to work, and they're wearing Trump gear and have MAGA flags. That's just driving them nuts because they don't understand. They don't have any mass support for Biden protesting.
That's for sure.
Right? These are demonstrations that we want to go, and they're not even asking for a handout from the government. They're like, we just want to go back to work.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like, they don't understand what's going on in the media and the Democrats. They're really, and
Do you think the Democrats who feign this big concern about losing the lives of people, do you think they would care if they lost 1 million lives if it served the purposes of electing?
No, and you know, another thing that's going to start to happen if they don't get people back to work, there's going to be another housing crisis, and it's going to be worse because there's going to be a commercial real estate crash because a lot of these people, they're shut down, they're not paying the rents. Like I saw a few weeks back, Cheesecake Factory said that they are not paying rent on any of their locations nationwide. I don't know how many locations that is, but it's a lot.
Cheesecakes on trade, I guess.
Yeah, but the person that owns the building still has to make the mortgage payments on the property, you know.
What is it Marie Antoinette said? Let them eat cheesecake?
I think that's what Nancy Pelosi said with her $25,000 refrigerator the other day. So then the governor of Michigan, she's one of the big nasty people out there. Over the weekend, she was on TV. She was talking about these protesters that say, "Let us go back to work."
That I'm concerned most about, and that I think my fellow governors are as well, is a resurgence. When you see a political rally, that's what it was yesterday. A political rally like that where people aren't wearing masks and they're in close quarters and they are touching one another, you know that's precisely what makes this kind of a disease drag out and expose more people. People came and converged together in Lansing, and then they went out back to their homes across the state of Michigan. The odds are very high that they're spreading COVID-19 along with it. And so it's that kind of irresponsible action that puts us in this situation where we might have to actually think about extending stay-home orders, which is supposedly what they were protesting.
Okay, so she's actually threatening them. If you don't stop protesting, I'm going to extend it, is what she's saying, the lockdown, if you don't stop protesting. Pretty bad. And then Trump over the weekend, he talked about the lockdowns.
I've never seen so many American flags. I mean, I'm seeing the same thing that you're seeing. I don't see it any differently. Who? Nazi. Well, that I totally would.
See, that's one of the big media lie that they're waving Nazi flags. I didn't see any Nazi flags.
You're seeing. I don't see it any differently. Who? Nazi. Well, that I totally would say no way. But I didn't see that. I see all, of course, I'm sure the news plays that up. I've seen American flags all over the place. I have never seen so many American flags at a rally as I have at these rallies. These people love our country. They want to get back to work.
Yeah, I mean, that's all they want to do. If these were like people that were infected, that could spread it, it'd be one thing. But these are people that aren't sick. They haven't been exposed.
Did you wear your mask today?
Always. Yeah.
How long are you going to wear that?
Well, we still have to wear them. You can't go anywhere without it.
The day they announce it, will you put it on?
I don't know. Maybe not. I might wear it longer. I think masks are here to stay for a while.
Uncomfortable feeling in my stomach that I'm never going to get you out of that mask.
I'm not wearing it now.
Well,
over on the air.
No, you're going to wear it though to go outside, because we all know there's a big bunch of virus right outside the door. Right?
Well, no, there's not. There's people outside the door when we leave.
The people are the problem.
Well, yeah, because that's how you get it.
The people.
That's how you get it if they breathe it on me or something. You know what I mean? So.
Get rid of all the people, and there'll be no more breathing.
Nothing wrong with what you can't go anywhere without the mask. You have to wear the mask to go anywhere now. It's like the rule. I wouldn't say the law, but it's the
I hate to say
rule.
this, but it's towards the end of the show, so I suppose I can say it. But I was watching especially carefully yesterday as on my all-day vigil, and there were very few masks. And I was watching everything. There were a few.
Did you leave your house?
No,
Oh.
I'm talking about it
Wait.
on the television.
Well, that was the protesters weren't wearing them, a lot of them, yeah. 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 But if you go out anywhere, people are wearing masks everywhere. Everywhere you go, you see people wearing masks.
That's what
Or
scares me
bandanas.
about you. I think everywhere you go.
You're just saying you watch stuff on TV.
Well, that's what's going on out there.
When we went, you and I went
You're
to...
watching Donald Duck.
No, I know I actually go out in the world and go to places and see. I went and got coffee on the way to work this morning at Wawa. Everyone was wearing a mask. Everyone. Went to Wings Plus. We went to Wings Plus on Friday. The Ramblewood location. Everyone was wearing masks. We had a business meeting Friday after the show. Everyone in the meeting was wearing a mask.
That's kind of interesting.
What?
I can't wait to break that story when we get.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want to do that one yet. But we got in and out. But everywhere you go, people are wearing masks in public. The protesters, a lot of them were not wearing masks because they were staying inside of their vehicles. And you don't have to wear a mask in your car. You told me on Friday something I thought was very strange.
What?
You said that you think I like wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Why would you think I like wearing a mask? I don't like it. It's hard to breathe in it. It's hot. It's tough to breathe. I don't like it.
But there's something going on. Anyway.
What do you mean? Now I want to be safe.
Yeah, everybody wants to be safe, but everybody is not going to. How long you think? How much of a drop? Make them the numbers for me. How much of a percentage drop do you think there'll be between this week and next week in the masks?
None. None.
In 2 weeks, what percentage?
None.
drop?
It's good until it'll be this way. Probably close to the end of the year, at least. And people are going to be wearing masks all the time. Let me take a quick call here, Steve. All right, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? It's Mike and Boca.
Hey, Mike and Boca. What's up?
Hey, Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
Not much. I saw about the protesters, and a lot of people are making fun of them. I really don't care. It's their choice. They want to protest, let them go ahead. I personally wouldn't protest because I'm in Florida, and we have a great governor. He's got a great stuff.
Yeah, but the problem is we have a great governor, but the problem is some of our local officials in South Florida are Democrats, and they don't want to open up. Like the mayor of Fort Lauderdale. The mayor of Fort Lauderdale is a longtime Democrat activist who's the mayor now, and he's not opening anything up. Same thing in Miami. It's a bit much.
Well, Palm Beach mayor. I honestly didn't.
All
think I had a
Democrats.
mayor of Palm Beach County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach. Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County are the most populous counties in the state, and the Orlando area, all run by Democrats. So the Democrats, they hate Ron DeSantis, they hate Trump. He can't hear you, Steve. He can't hear you.
Mike on the phone.
He can't hear you, Steve, on the news
Ask
center.
him if he's wearing a mask today.
Yeah, of course. Are you wearing? Steve wants to know if you're wearing a mask when you go out and about. Of course, I'm sure he is.
Yes, I do.
See?
Well, when I call you every morning, I got a mask on because of my job.
I hate wearing the mask, but you got to wear it.
I've got one. I got one of those pullovers like the motorcycle dudes wear.
Oh yeah.
And one of them I know a lot of people like because it looks like the purge mask.
Yeah.
And I have one that looks like it's from
So
Florida.
I get a lot of compliments actually, and I'm getting used to it because
That's a good
I have allergies anyway, so I kind of like
Yeah.
it. And,
Oh, you like it?
it's actually not making me scratch my face.
Oh, that's good.
I don't touch my face anymore.
Let's get
That's good.
everybody on a mask.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Hey, listen, take care. We got to run for a break. All right, take care. I don't know why you think people are crazy that wear masks.
Because I don't think the danger is commensurate with the bother.
I'm going to agree with that. But you have to wear them to go out anywhere. So you got to do what you got to do.
Because you say
Steve, last week you told me you couldn't go to Winn-Dixie without the mask.
that was first of all that was last week.
Go there today without the mask and walk in. Walk in without it
It's a
today.
huge conglomeration, a big corporate, structure so that it makes rules in a...
Okay, where do you
But
think I
that's
can
a-
go without a mask? And try it today. You'll get turned away. You got to wear a mask everywhere. I don't like it. It's hot. You know, yesterday I was out. It was like 95 degrees yesterday. I had to wear this damn mask. It's hot. I can't breathe. I don't like wearing it. But you got to wear it to go. I feel kind of stupid wearing it, quite frankly. It seems so bizarre.
There's hope.
No, I mean, come on. I mean, it's so ridiculous to see.
Well, the point I'm trying to make to you is maybe the reason that you feel you look stupid when you're wearing it is because you look stupid when you're wearing it.
Yeah, but you have to wear them. It's not a choice. Listen, we got a break. All right, we'll be right.
I'm sure we'll pick this up later. Stay tuned. Coming up right now, the Gold Report. Don't go away.
Great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for hours, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man. And
I needed to play something, so I had time to come in. What's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-90.
Steve. See if he's there.
Yes, hello?
Where is it?
Hello?
Steve. He's on the line. You got to hold it up to the mic. He's on your cell phone.
What does that mean?
Youngerman's on the cell phone.
What?
He's on your cell phone.
I picked this up.
You gotta hold it to the mic.
40 a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060.
All right, we're coming back.
Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
And now the moment for which we all wait, the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman of William Youngerman, Inc. William, of course, one of the world's leading authorities when it comes to all of the precious metals. He has been advising clients on trends and movements in the precious metals market. Say that fast 10 times. Boy, if you have been following him for the last 30 years as I have, or well, it's not 30 years, but 25, but who's counting? You're as happy as I am if you've been following him. He knows what he's talking about, and here he is with the opening prices. William, how are you?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
Very excellent.
Good. Well, the precious metals are doing pretty good. The market's really pretty wild. Last week we saw gold get up to over $1,750 an ounce before retreating back on Friday, although it stayed above $1,700 all of last week until Friday when we saw some profit taking and gold selling down to $1,686.50 on the close. That was down $30.30 on Friday. Silver took a hit after getting up to $15.64 on Friday, $15.19, which was down 31 cents. Platinum was down $5, closing at $7.79, and palladium closed out the week at $2,070, down $25 on Friday. Last week we saw gold hit a 7.5-year high, and oil dropping to $18 a barrel. That was shattered by another loss of 1/3 of its value. Oil down to $11 a barrel on the May contract today, the lowest price we've seen in over 20 years for the price of oil. The Dow gaining some 5,000 points of its loss over the last couple of weeks after it got down to just under 19,000. It's back up to in that $24,000 range, although it is scheduled to open lower again today. right now. We've got gold.
I got it.
Up $1.
Hold it. Yeah, hold it closer.
1688. We did get up to 1697 this morning, trying to recapture that $1,700 number, but not yet. 1688 on gold, up $1.50. Silver is up 6 cents right now at $15.25 the ounce. Platinum is up $1 at $780. And palladium is up $33 at $21.03. So going forward, we are still looking for higher gold prices, but a normal pullback like this after we've had quite a good run-up on gold and precious metals is to be expected. We've got a lot of markets that are giving investors quite a hair-pulling experience and not knowing exactly where to go. The Dow Jones, having recaptured quite a bit of its gains, it was mostly in a very handful of the tech stocks that gained much of that S&P value back. So that being said, there's a lot of companies out there still down dramatically and a lot of problems in the economy that makes me want to be in gold and not cash or any other market. So the gold market is still a great buying opportunity. Look forward to buying it on any of these pullbacks.
And today looks like a pretty good day with this taking a little rest here. A good day to stop by William Youngerman, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That is the Bank America building, and you'll find William on the first floor directly across from the bank. You can reach him by phone at 1-800-327-5010 or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com. William, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. And we are here.
Yeah, so that press conference with Trump over the weekend, fine, was great. I mean, it was great. He was...
Last night you're talking about.
Yeah, and this Saturday too. Trump put together this coronavirus, council. He had every Republican senator on it except Mitt Romney.
Yes.
And let me play this clip. A reporter asked President Trump about Mitt Romney at yesterday's press conference.
The White House announced a congressional task force for reopening America. It included every Republican senator but Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
So you're still holding a grudge against
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Mitt Romney. I had 52 Republican senators.
He was the governor. You don't want his advice.
Well, I just don't think, I'm not a fan of Mitt Romney. I don't really want his advice.
They don't want his advice. We're going to miss Trump when he's gone. I mean, we've never had a president so honest.
They're not going to be the same.
Oh, it's going to be terrible. After his second term. There'll never be a president again who's so honest.
We'll just have to end up being extra brilliant. So it's a compensate.
No, it's nice watching him. I mean, that's not the answer. I mean, him sliding Romney is unheard of.
Something he wanted them to play on a tape that they wouldn't play.
I didn't see the whole thing yesterday. I didn't.
Everybody
Yeah.
out there remembers the moment. He had set it up to have this video show.
Yeah.
And they evidently edited it.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything he wanted on there.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
If anybody knows that, get to us with that. I'm kind of curious.
Oh, that last night was a good one. And he was talking. Now, the word's coming down that indictments will soon be coming from Durham. And they asked Trump about pardoning Manafort or Flynn. I'll play this clip, but there was something he said. I don't know what this is about. If anybody knows, let me know. In regards to Manafort, he said something called, I think he said a black book, some book has been proven to be a fraud. Something they used against Manafort has since been put in prison, has been shown to be a fraud. But anyway, they asked him about pardoning General Flynn and Manafort.
Top of the FBI was scum. And what they did to General Flynn, and
I love that. Scum.
was a disgrace.
Yeah, let me play that part again. That's why I like.
Top of the FBI was scum.
That's Comey, Jagger Comey he's talking about.
But the top of the FBI was scum. And what they did to General Flynn, and you know it, and everybody knows it, was a disgrace. He was in the service for over 30 years. He ends up being a general and respected. Respected. And almost his first day in office, they come in with papers they want to investigate him. Never happened before, and now the tables are turned. Investigate the investigators, I guess. These were crooked people. These are bad people. These are very dangerous people. You know what they are, though? They're scum.
Tell them how you really feel.
I mean, we're never going to have any politician that ever talks this way again.
No, it is.
And he gets away with it because everybody knows he's right. You know, and of course he's talking about Comey. So that makes me wonder. It's interesting because they said
Comey's not in jail.
no. They said you got to be indicted first. They said last week it came out. No, Durham said it came out last week that Durham is close to indictments, and then all of a sudden, Trump knows what the indictments are. They've told him. He knows. So all of a sudden, he's calling. He says the head of the FBI was scum. So that's either Comey or the number 2 guy or both. Yeah. So is that an indicator that Comey is going to be one of the ones indicted by Durham?
I certainly hope so.
I mean, this is pretty. Listen. Yeah, I mean, that's very specific.
It's clinical analysis.
I think it's a good one. It's accurate.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, so that to me thinks that he's been told that Comey is going to get indicted. Is what I would take from
when
that.
I see Comey doing a perp work, that's what I
Why do you think I like wearing a mask, which is insane? Why do you think I like it?
Why? Because you're fixated on it.
What do you
You're
mean?
fixated on it.
I'm not fixated on
Am
it.
I wearing a mask?
No, you can't go anywhere. You're going to have to leave here and go home. You won't be able to go anywhere. No one will let you in. I've seen people turned away from
That's
places.
the most ridiculous. Well, you know,
There's a pandemic going on, Steve.
a pandemic.
It's the coronavirus, COVID-19. I'm agreeing that.
This is what gets me. I don't want to go into it now at the end of the show, but this is what gets me. You talk out of that side of your mouth now. It's so important to follow the rules and wear the masks. And when we talk about it on the air and everything like that, everything's ready to go back like.
It is, but you've got the reason you've got to wear the masks is so that they can open everything up. You can't go in anywhere. It's no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no surface. That's the rules now. You cannot go in any business. I've seen people turned away. I was at Walmart. I saw 3 people turned away at one time.
Well, I will admit I've kind of gotten into the eating out. Getting
The takeout?
Yeah, that's the way.
Well, I'll tell you, we only got a couple seconds left. But Wings Plus, the Sample Road location, what I've been told is a couple more weeks till it opens. They're remodeling. But the Ramblewood Wings Plus is still, it's open for lunch and dinner. And they've got the takeout down to a science.
These are the best.
Yeah, well, we're out of time now.
And the hamburgers.
We're out of
And
time.
we'll see you tomorrow. God bless America.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
All right, guys, take care. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, all right? Take care.